Grab your masks and discover the historic charm of Havre de Grace, socially distant but close to home.
Voted best news and sports station downstate by the readers of Delaware Today magazine. Once again proving we are Delmarva's official station of record for news, information, and sports. 92.7 WGMD. Celebrating 40 years as a resort broadcasting station. 92.7 WGMD. Rehoboth Beach, Lewis, the talk of Delmarva. It's a big sports weekend coming up here on 92.7 WGMD. Saturday, the Red Hot Phillies are in the Blue Jays' temporary home of Buffalo in interleague play as they continue their playoff push. Pre-game is at 5:30, first pitch at 6:05. Then on Sunday, the Ravens continue the start to their season on the road in Houston, taking on AFC foe Texans. Coverage kicks off with a Ravens Wrap Show hosted by Mike Bradley at 3:30, followed by network pregame at 3:55 with kickoff at 4:25 here on 92.7 WGMD. This is Decision 2020, Delaware primary coverage from 92.7 WGMD, as we cover federal, state, and local races from up and down the first state, with analysis from John Brady and Jake Smith, election results from Mark Fowler and Mary Lou from the WGMD newsroom. We will also hear from the candidates themselves. Anchoring tonight's coverage is Mike Bradley, all from Delmarva's election station, 92.7 WGMD.
All right, 8:01 across Delmarva and the first state as the polls are closed in Delaware. A number of primary races up and down the first state. We'll start downstate with the Sussex County Council District 2 with 3 races, which are both Republican primaries, which also serve as the general with no Democrat opposition. In District 2, Lisa Hudson-Briggs, Cindy Green, and Robert Wilson all running. Now, this seat is being vacated by Robert Wilson's father, Sam Wilson, who's stepping down after 12 years. In District 3, the incumbent I.G. Burton is being challenged by Mark Schaefer, who was one of 4 Republicans who ran 4 years ago in the primary for the seat, along with Burton, who obviously won and is running for, again, re-election. Now, there is a crowded field in the GOP gubernatorial race with 6 candidates that are running. Local lawyer Julianne Murray from Sussex County, also Senator Brian Richardson, who represents the western side of Sussex County, and local businessman David Bosco out of the Greenwood area. You've got Delaware State employee and former Nanticoke executive David Graham. He's out of the Smyrna area. You've got Delaware State Senator Colin Beniti out of Kent County, and Scott Walker is running out of Newcastle County. Now, on the Democrat side, the incumbent Governor John Carney is being challenged tonight by progressive David Williams. There are federal elections tonight for the U.S. Senate. The incumbent Chris Coons is being challenged by Jessica Scarrain, who is a progressive. On the Republican side, grassroots candidate Lauren Witzke is running against lawyer and Marine James DiMartino, who was previously run against House Speaker that is Pete Schwarzkopf. Now, on the U.S. House side of things, the incumbent Lisa Blunt Rochester is unopposed on the Democrat side. On the Republican side, former Amtrak employee and actor Lee Murphy is running. Now, he fell in the Republican primary to Scott Walker 2 years ago. He's opposed by grassroots candidate Matthew Morris. Both are from Newcastle County. Now, there are also upstate House and Senate races that we'll be watching closely as well, where a number of progressives are challenging incumbent moderate to liberal Democrats. This could shift the Democrat Party further to the left, or in some cases give Republicans the chance to win that seat. And right now in the Senate, the Republicans trail 12-9. On the House side of things, it's a much larger margin. So whether the Republicans can just hold firm tonight, or maybe even in the general, or I should say in November, if they can hold firm or gain a couple of seats, obviously that would be huge. Now, our panel tonight, local lawyer, Delaware political analyst and historian, and the host of Tipping the Scales of Justice, heard Saturdays from noon until 2 here at 92.7 WGMD. John Brady, also host of Delmarva Live, heard weekdays from 9 a.m. until noon. Jake Smith, in the WGMD Newcastle County newsroom, Mark Fowler, and in the Sussex County newsroom, Mary Lou. We also have Marco Giuliani tonight and Julia Hardy working hard behind the scenes for us. And the executive producer of this entire broadcast is Operations Manager and Program Director Walt Palmer. So we'll head over to the various studios. And John, a good evening to you. We were discussing quite a bit about the races all over the place and the history, the vast knowledge of history that you have. But good evening and good to talk to you again.
It's good to be here, Mike. You're right. It's very interesting with the number of incumbent Democrats facing primaries tonight across the state. When you're the party that is basically in control of the state and having as many incumbents being challenged from governor on down as in the U.S. Senate, it's interesting because that shows is Delaware's political wind changing? Is it becoming more of a Bernie Sanders state, or is it going to stay a more conservative state? And those races in Newcastle and Kent County will tell us. But most importantly, for us here in Sussex County, are those two county council races, the second and third district, because there are no Democratic challengers. That is where we will find who is the candidate who will win the general election and will serve on county council. We know there's a vacancy in the second district. And the third district, will the incumbent fail tonight and the challenger win, or will the incumbent prevail? And so it's going to be interesting. We're going to see some interesting trends across the state, but it's an exciting night. I'm glad to be here, Mike.
Now we bring in from Delmarva Live, Jake Smith this evening. Jake, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Mike. We don't get a chance to talk much in the evenings, do we?
Of course not. No,
I'm
good.
usually asleep by now anyway.
Well, you and me both, for that matter. Now, Jake, tonight, and I know I laid out a number of the races, pretty much everything that we're going to be covering tonight. But for you, what is your focus tonight? And is there anything interesting outside of the main focus that you're also maybe from a secondary or tertiary standpoint you're looking at tonight?
Mike, I think that I'm actually looking past tonight. And the reason I'm doing that is the number of listeners that called in during my non-scientific polling that I did during Delmarva Live yesterday, the number of independents who could not vote today but were planning on voting for Julianne Murray in the governor's race. Mm-hmm. And I think that's interesting because if you look at the breakdown, and Mary Lou was very nice to send us that breakdown of registered voters in Delaware. Obviously, up north, the Democrats have a unique advantage. But where any candidate who's challenging either a Democrat or incumbent Republican, where they can make significant headway, in my opinion, is with the independent vote. And I'm not sure up north whether the independents are really counting on a Julianne Murray candidacy if she does, in fact, win tonight. But clearly, there are a lot of independents out there that are really looking at going to the polls 49 days from today to cast their ballot for a Republican candidate. So there's obviously change in the air. I think John Brady is 100% correct. I think the political winds in Delaware certainly are more in blowing from a different direction than they have ever been since I've lived down here in 10 years. Mike, what do you think?
Well, this is a very unique year with COVID, gentlemen, and if there's a chance in terms of, I think we're all looking at that gubernatorial race in November. Governor Carney has doubled down on his state of emergency and all that he's put into effect over the last several months. He's doubled down on that. How much will that come back to impact him negatively, or will his decisions be upheld? We shall see. But, John, talking about the state of Delaware, if a Republican, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but if a Republican were to win the governor's house, you would tend to think that some of these upstate races where if a progressive should upset the incumbent who's a moderate to liberal, you would tend to think, though, that ought to help the Republicans out. You would not tend to think that there would be a mixed message necessarily sent where you're voting in a Republican governor because of your unhappiness with Governor Carney's decisions during COVID-19, and then also then go ahead and turn around and vote in a progressive legislator. That doesn't make a lot of sense necessarily.
No, and we have some historical perspective. In 1968, Governor Terry instituted a state of emergency and had the Delaware National Guard occupy the city of Wilmington from April, when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed, until the following January. He lost election to a DuPont engineer named Russell Peterson, who ran as a Republican. The last time the city of Wilmington had a Republican mayor was that same election, 1968. In 72, a Democrat was elected governor, And in 76, the Honorable Pete DuPont, who had been serving in Congress for 6 years, was elected governor in another upset because the economic condition in the state of Delaware had dropped. That famous slogan for Bill Clinton, how are you doing these days? And if you're better off now than you were 4 years ago. Well, that brought in the start of 16 years of Republican governorship, which ended with Governor Dale Wolf, who filled the balance of Governor Castle's term and left office in 1993, and no Republican has occupied Woodburn, which is the state gubernatorial mansion, since 1993. And the handwriting's on the wall that that could happen here in 2020.
Mike, can I ask John a quick question?
Sure. Go ahead.
John, it seems to me that this primary race in Delaware had a little bit of everything that I've never seen before. You had frayed nerves. I mean, I had Senator Bryant Richardson calling me very upset today that he showed up in a favorable light on some voting website for Planned Parenthood. You had a little bit of dirty politics, that whole, if you want to call it a email scandal that took place where Senator Richardson's electioneering or election information was sent out
As
from
an
the
email
executive
blast.
committee.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a little bit of everything in this race. You've seen frayed nerves. You've seen people getting a little short-tempered. Have you seen any of that? And is it a sign that that perhaps the political winds are changing here in Delaware? What do you think, John?
Well, in 1976, the Democratic and Republican candidate for mayor actually started fighting and punching each other in a debate on live TV.
Okay,
So
we haven't gotten that bad yet.
I was going to say, we're not quite there. Well, I guess that gives perspective then.
Yeah, we still have
And
49 days to go, Mike. You never know.
We have had comments in this primary upstate about jobs that candidates have held by other ones and making comments about the type of work they do or the relationships they're in. So, we're gently drifting to the way New York, New Jersey politics are, not the Delaware way.
Well, John, we received an email from one candidate that basically threatened us, and I'm not going to say the name of the candidate, WGMD, because he felt that WGMD were not providing him with enough airtime, that if he got elected governor, he was going to ruin us or something like that. Now, I'm not saying the name of the candidate, but I've never seen frayed nerves. I've never seen this kind of reaction to a primary like this before. Never, since I've been down here.
Let me give you a little bit of perspective.
All right.
I ran in 3 primaries, two as a Republican, one as a Democrat.
Right.
I won all 3. By the time 7 o'clock comes on primary day, you're nervous, you can't eat, you're very upset, and you're always on pins and needles.
Right.
And because of that, I can understand where people come in and get a little tense that day, because what they're trying to do that day is get out and tell the people, thanks for coming to vote, and if you vote for me, I'll do a good job.
Right.
And when they hear comments about them on the radio that they think tends to put them in a bad light, they react.
So you think that Julianne Murray giving her 5 dogs baths today was probably a good thing to cut her stress level down, John, do you think?
My last primary, I went home and took a nap for 3 hours in the afternoon.
Works for me.
Because I had been up at 5 o'clock in the morning putting signs out and making sure everything was set. And the time of the least people voting was 2 to 4:30. So I went home and took a nap. But you're right. You have to do things that are relaxed, because by the time people go to a polling place for a primary, they're pretty much decided who they're going to go. And my strategy was always to have people at the polls that say, John Brady thanks you for voting today. So if they weren't decided and they heard that name and they saw it on the ballot, I may get their vote.
John, let me switch gears for a second along the same lines, though, of this gubernatorial election. And that is, I think you and I talked when I had you on several weeks ago and in the morning concerning these 6 candidates running on the GOP side. What do you make of that, and how surprised were you that nobody dropped out in the last month or so?
Well, it's because when you get invested in a race and you see an opportunity and you have some financial support and you're trying to show how you can make a difference, that you're willing to push forward, the only poll that counts is today. Polling in primary races is very unscientific because even though they try, you may get somebody answer the phone, sure, I'm a Republican, and they're not. And that leads to a discussion we may have on open and closed primaries. But what it is when they all filed, there was an endorsement, but in the Republican rules, a Republican endorsement doesn't get you any special favoritism anymore from the Republican committee. 20 years ago, it did. And if you were the endorsed candidate, you got office space, you got financial support from the party. That doesn't apply right now. And so all of these candidates are investing their time in a race to say, look, fellow Republicans, or look, fellow Democrats, I think I can do the best job out there. I'm looking for your support. And when you're invested, when you go to time and you start campaigning, you want to continue. And I've seen some candidates drop out, but it did not surprise me that no one dropped out as of today.
It's 8:16 across Delmarva. You're listening to Delaware primary coverage right here on Delmarva's election station, 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. We're also on Facebook Live tonight at the WGMD Facebook page at facebook.com/WGMD927. I'll throw this question to Jake, but then, John, we'll come back around to you on this one as well. Jake, if there had not been this COVID-19 situation, do you believe there would have been 6 candidates running?
No question. No, I don't think so, Mike. I think that, and it's funny because I had a Democrat voter who called my show yesterday and said that he was voting for the progressive candidate. Let me just pull up the name of David Lamar Williams Jr. against John Carney today in the primary. But on November 3rd, he's voting for Julianne Murray because of what Carney did to businesses here. He just thinks that the Democrat Party is anti-business, and we're at a very difficult spot right now, and he thinks the only way out of it is to bring in someone like Julianne Murray. I thought that was a very interesting opinion from a Democrat voter. What do you think, Mr. Brady?
I've heard it all over the state.
Have you really? Okay.
And what it is why I went back and started tonight talking about 1968 and 1976.
Right.
Both of those times we either had restrictions in place, and I was a 9-year-old living in the city of Wilmington. My dad was the assistant U.S. attorney and was driven home and to work by the FBI.
Wow.
I lived in a neighborhood that was 10 blocks from where there were fires. And so, as such, in the old 9th Ward in Wilmington, as such, we could see it. And we had our liberties restricted. Then, in 76, the economy of Delaware was in bad shape. So we had business issues. Both times, Republicans came out and won the general election for governor. What do we have here in 2020? We have people that say because of COVID-19, their liberties are limited.
Right.
We have businesses that are closing, and we have an economy that is not in the greatest shape. That's why if there was any recipe for a Republican takeover of the job of governor in the state of Delaware, this could be that time.
Well, and gentlemen, as you know, being a Maryland resident, we saw this several years back when Governor Hogan and then candidate Hogan ran on 40 straight fee and tax increases from the O'Malley administration, and he ran that right into Annapolis, which is rare in a blue state, which is certainly further blue than Delaware is. We do have phone lines open for our listeners tonight at 302-945-9292, 1-800-518-9292. Also, you can email any one of us, Mike.Bradley at WGMD.com, Jake.Smith at WGMD.com, news at WGMD.com. John, I don't know, do you have a WGMD address, or are we just going to pass along the messages to you? I apologize.
You're going to have to pass along the messages
Mike,
because I'm not network enabled.
Okay, well, we will do that. I want to grab a call, then, Jake, we'll get to you. Caller, you're up at WGMD. Thanks for holding on.
Hi, it's Suzanne from Millsboro. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Suzanne.
Okay, so John, I know that you and I have had battles back and forth about political views, and I know that you and I have gone back to grade school with my family and all that. So, my question to you is, I know you're a Democrat, and we all know that, we all respect that, but with working with Julianne Murray for several years on the radio, can you honestly tell me that you could vote for anybody else other than Julianne? I would really like to hear your opinion as to why you would vote for her and why you would not vote for her, even though you are a registered Democrat.
Because in the state of Delaware right now, when the ballot is put together and approved by the Board of Canvass in each county on Thursday, I have never voted a straight party line. I vote for the best person on the ballot to do the job. As
And who
such,
do you think that is?
well, until we know the winners tonight, I can't answer that question.
Well, and Suzanne, let me just say this with all due respect to you. He's serving as an analysis, or gentleman providing analysis tonight. I mean, his vote is his personal opinion. He doesn't have to give that on the air to anybody.
I get that, but how can you? Okay,
well, he's not promoting any candidate. He's our analyst tonight. He's not promoting a candidate.
Suzanne, this is Jay. Can I just throw something in there? I asked a number of callers who called in. I don't know if you heard that non-scientific poll that I did yesterday on Delmarva Live, but I asked a number of people, and some of them actually brought it up, that they learned so much about the candidate Julianne Murray from listening to Tipping the Scales of Justice.
Absolutely. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and I have learned about her from Bill Colley.
Okay.
As you all know.
Yes.
But I would just like to see for one time someone that is a registered Democrat that would honestly say, oh my God, Julianne, I've worked for her. I do the radio with her every Saturday. She is your best bet. That is not what we're hearing.
All right, so Suzanne, your problems with John. You don't think that John has been a strong enough supporter of Julianne Murray's candidacy? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I've let her go, but we're kind of getting off the tracks here.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, if I ask you, he's in an analysis role. And go ahead, John, if you want to answer.
I'll answer the question. Okay. My other job is a state job where I'm on probation. I am on probation until the week after the election and could be terminated for any reason until then. I have always kept who I vote for, except when I'm running, to myself, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Right, and tonight's a Republican primary.
We're not Democratic primary.
Right, but in terms of the GOP, well, yes, but essentially, I think we know Carney's going to win that. But let's see first what happens on the GOP side. Well, when you host a Tipping the Scales of Justice, that's a law show. Again, that's not a, hey, I'm just doing my own talk show and I'm promoting the candidate I like. That's not the kind of role that John serves here on the station. All right.
Mike, can I just throw something out there quick?
Yes.
You and I had talked about it, and you had an opinion, and I accepted that opinion, and I seconded it, and that is that I didn't think that abortion was on the ballot this year.
Correct.
How many calls did I get and you get over the last few days from voters in the Republican primary that were asking specifically about Julianne Murray's feelings on right to life, whether she was pro-abortion, against abortion? I thought that was interesting, Mike. We didn't think that abortion was on the ballot, and it isn't. But it's still an important topic for an important issue for voters to consider. And if you consider that Senator Bryant Richardson called in today very upset that he was portrayed in a positive light by Planned Parenthood, it is still an important issue to voters, even though it may not be first and foremost on their minds when they went to vote today.
I think, if anything, if they're making a decision, if they like the candidate, if they have a candidate they like, but they're going down the various checkpoints, they just want to make sure that that person is solid on that issue with them as well, because if not, maybe they change their mind if it's between that candidate and another candidate. But you're right, we did receive some of that asking about Julianne's position. It wasn't on her website.
Did that surprise you,
It wasn't
Mike?
on her Facebook page. I tell you why it didn't. Only because being in Sussex County, it's a very Christian, a very religious county still, that people value religion quite a bit. So I'm not. If I was in Newcastle County and got those questions, I might be a little bit more surprised about that per se.
I would say that's a fair response.
But ultimately, to me, COVID-19, the economy, and law and order are the top two issues in the first state. Let me grab a couple of more calls here, and then we do need to take a timeout. Caller, you're up at WGMD. Mike Bradley, John Brady, and Jake Smith.
Okay, this is Nelly from Lewis. I just wanted to say I have my favorite candidate for governorship, but whoever wins this time in the Republican Party, we should be all saying anybody but whatever his name, Carney.
Okay, so you're in full support no matter who the GOP candidate is. Gotcha.
Whoever it is that wins this time, I will support it with my eyes closed, because we cannot have that man here any longer.
Well, Nelly agreed, but it all comes down to electability.
I appreciate the call.
Senator Bryant Richardson, unfortunately, does not have big name recognition in Kent County or in Newcastle County. He just doesn't. He's considered a one-issue candidate. And I'm not saying that's a bad issue, but there are other candidates that are that offer more in a general election than Senator Bryant Richardson. So I think if Bryant Richardson was the nominee, I think it would be a shoe-in re-election for John Carney. That is my opinion, of which I get paid for, and not necessarily might be the right one, but that's what I think. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I need to take a time out here with that. Well, it certainly doesn't hurt that you've got, though, a state senator of Richardson and Benini who are currently in office. Richardson serves on JFC. Benini has run an election before. He's been there for a while. So they may have a little bit more name recognition than you're giving them credit for. But that said, though, it's still an uphill battle, certainly in Newcastle County, for any downstate Republican. Let me take a time out. We got a phone call to get to on the other side of this. You're listening to Delaware primary coverage here at 92.7 WGMD.
We keep you warm when it's cold outside. We keep your water hot.
Don't let high heating costs give you the chills this winter. Instead, call us at Baker Petroleum so you can feel the warmth of savings by enrolling in our pre-buy and price cap program. Call us at Baker Petroleum today at 302-684-8569.
You're good to go. You can depend on Baker Petroleum. You're good to go.
While most of us are spending more time at home, now you can make that time more enjoyable by enhancing your garage or any outdoor area with Slide Lock of the Eastern Shore. Enhance your man cave, deck, or balcony with new concrete floor coatings. Use top products that are 4 times stronger than epoxy. Also ask about staining and polishing. Call Slide Lock today at 302-945-2200.
Make your garage the best on the block. Slide Lock your garage.
Do you know that this is the best time of year to seed your lawn? Hi, this is Gary Rhodes from Southern States Milford. We have the grass seed you need to establish a beautiful lawn. We have Mid-Atlantic Blend and Statesman Tall Fescue. We have Shadescape mixture for those shady areas. Our grass seeds are finer bladed, more disease resistant, greener, and more drought tolerant than the regular fescue. Our experts will help you choose the right grass seed for your lawn. Stop by Southern States Milford at the corner of Route 14 and the Williamsville Road.
A reverse mortgage may be exactly what you need to maximize your retirement. Senior life should be stress-free, and a reverse mortgage can eliminate your current mortgage with no loan repayment. Call me, Jim Fritz, with All American Mortgage to see how you can rid yourself the stress of a monthly mortgage payment, which may be preventing you from retirement or from celebrating retirement. Call Jim Fritz with All American Mortgage, serving Delmarva at 302-934-8787, or reach me on my cell at 302-245-2327.
Why waste time running from store to store comparing samples and swatches for your window coverings? Let Budget Blinds, your local experts, come to you. Our design consultants will bring samples, swatches, and styles to you so you can see how they look in your home. Or you can check out different ideas and trends at our showroom on Route 9, 4.5 miles west of 5 Points. From sales to installation, we make the process easy for you. Plus, we service all of our products. Call us at 856-6799 and let us get started on your new window coverings today.
Are you in search of the perfect custom flag and flagpole installation? Hi, this is John Dorman, GM of Stokely Materials and now First State Flag. First State Flag has been serving all of Delmarva, specializing in residential and commercial flagpoles for over 25 years. We offer a wide array of flagpole installation services as well as a full line of flags that are all made in the USA. View previous stunning projects at firststateflag.com. Also receive a free quote when you visit us at our new location at 32416 Lewis Georgetown Highway, just west of Route 1. Remember, big or small, we install them all. First State Flag.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app.
All right, it's
Mike Bradley.
Oh, thank you, Harry. All right, the polls have been closed for half an hour now in the first state. Primary coverage continues at a very busy Tuesday night here. We've got Sussex County Council District 2 and 3 races. We've got a crowded GOP gubernatorial field of 6. Even Governor Carney is being primaried tonight by a progressive. You've got U.S. Senate and House GOP races. You also have plenty of upstate races as well that we're going to be paying attention to. But, John, I'm going to bring you in here before we take another timeout. Marine weather on the way. But is there an issue we understand with the election website?
If you've ever believed in time standing still, like it does at the legislature on the last evening, right now, according to the state website, it's 7:34:34, which tells me that the state election website is offline.
So that means we could be in for a long night potentially.
We could be. We had a situation like this in 2008.
Indeed, we did.
And we also had a situation in 2014, I believe, where the site went down and votes in 2014, I think it was Kent County, if I recall, we had no Kent County votes for over an hour to an hour and a half. And this is one of the things. We have a new website. We have new machines. We have new ways of doing mail-in and absentee votes. And they put a note on the website that said absentee votes include both absentee and vote-by-mail votes, which was a question that came up earlier tonight. And so this is not a good start to the first primary election, general primary, with the new machines and the new system. So, folks, if you hear us talking history for a lot longer, it's because everybody at the moment has 0 votes.
All right, let's grab a call here before another timeout. Caller, you've been waiting patiently. You're up at WGMD. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, Jake, and John, this is Bob and Lewis.
Bob, good evening, sir.
John is on my side about the delay in the vote counting. Tucker Carlson's lead story tonight interview was with the Chinese virologist who recently escaped from China with scientific proof that the Wuhan virus was man-made, 100% certain, and that it was released at the direction of the communist government by the Chinese military as a bioweapon. That is my gathering, and I'm saying this knowing that Jake is listening. I don't know if you're aware of it. I had already seen that about an hour before it came on Tucker in one of these webs. I had sent it to my Democrat sister on the West Coast to tell her to watch, to read it, and then Tucker's on. But if this is true, this should guarantee Trump's massive reelection, because it's what he's been saying, and all of the Democrats' attempts to pin the coronavirus on Trump. And Trump has been the guy fighting China. If you imagine.
All right, but Bob. Okay, tonight is the Delaware primary, so can you circle this back locally for us?
I will. If anything, I think this will help every Republican candidate in every state and local election if we find out that what we've been fighting, the Democrats have been trying to say it's all the Republicans' fault. This is an attack on the United States by China. Imagine if it is proven, the Democrats are the biggest liars on the planet. Imagine if it's proven that the coronavirus was a bioweapon attack. First of all, it's a war crime, and the UN has got to take the side of the United States.
All right,
Bob,
we're
if I could just interject
yeah.
for just a second. I don't think that you'll convince any socialist Democrat voter that President Trump is not responsible. They completely consume the Kool-Aid. They believe everything they're being told. I don't think you're gonna flip any Democrat votes by this lab virologist who's come out publicly. Yes, that story has been brewing for a couple of days. With respect to the election, does it shut up Marxist state media and get them to stop blaming President Trump? No, because they pick and choose which news they're going to show. So I don't think this is going to have much of an effect, sadly, on the election 49 days from today. Thanks, Bob. Right. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, and let's do this. We're going to take a timeout. We come back. I want to talk about the Sussex County Council District 2 and 3 races. Also want to get to the U.S. Senate and House races in the first state as well. WGMD's Walt Palmer, by the way, is headed over to the Board of Elections. We've heard about issues with the website, and we're seeing issues now with the website as well. So he's headed over to get more information. So we will pass that along as fast as we get something from Walt. I'm sure we'll check in on the Newsmaker line. It's 8:35. This is Delaware primary coverage here. The polls closed about 35 minutes ago, and as soon as we have results, although right now it looks to be certainly delayed for a while longer, we will get them to you. But more analysis and your phone calls welcome next. WGMD weather is brought to you by Pep Up. Step up in quality, step up in service. Step up to Pep Up this heating season with Peptane Propane. Call today, 302-856-2555.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast Marine Weather Report. Small craft advisory continues until later tonight. Coastal waters, north-northeast winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around 3 feet. Rehoboth Beach, low tide 12:29, high tide 6:58 this evening. Delaware Bay, also under small craft advisory. North-northeast winds 12 to 15 knots, becoming northeasterly 10 to 13, gusting later to 20 knots, seas at 3 to 4 feet.
Whether you're an avid golfer, play casually, or new to the game, the Rookery is the perfect place to tee off. With 2 locations, the Rookery North on Business Route 1 in Milford and the Rookery South on the corner of Route 1 and 16, a round of golf is a short drive away. The Rookery is one of Delmarva's premier public golf courses. Visit rookerygolf.com for tee times, memberships, and info on senior days and group or individual instruction. That's rookerygolf.com.
Tune in this Wednesday at 4:40 p.m. as Duke Brooks' featured guest will be Bruce Herman of Herman Financial Services. Learn all about the independent, objective, and investment solutions that Herman Financial has to offer. This Wednesday at 4:40 p.m.
Crawl space or basement concerns? Don't wait. Call Dry Zone now so they can come out and give you a free estimate to stay safe and dry all the time. Call Dry Zone 302-684-5034 or visit dryzone.com. Are you looking for IT support stability? With a 98% client retention rate over 10 years, ThinkSecureNet.com offers IT support and solutions that are unmatched. Locally headquartered in Lewis, propel towards growth and call 302-265-4554.
Some places say nobody beats our prices. Some places say nobody beats our deals. Yeah, right. Hi, this is Dave at Lewis Meineke, and at Lewis Meineke, we promise nobody beats our commitment to our community and to our customers. Nobody. Call 302-827-2054.
This is Evangelist Rick Breidenbaugh, inviting you to listen to the Gospel Defender Ministries each Sunday morning at 8:30 over WGMD FM 92.7.
Tune in this Thursday at 9:20 a.m. as I will be Delmarva Live with special guests Community Bank Delaware. Tune in to learn about their banking services. Community Bank Delaware, headquartered right here in Sussex County. It's where community matters.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
All right, 8:38 is the time. It's funny as I'm looking at some of the messages here back and forth as we're all connected on a messenger service. Mark Fauser recalling a year in which he gave election results at Sunrise in North Jersey. It was so bad, I'm sure, because he was so tired at that point. But John Brady, Jake Smith joining us for analysis. And gentlemen, I want to switch gears to a very local race, and that would be the Sussex County Council District 3 race between I.G. Burton and Mark Schaefer. I.G., the incumbent. Mark has run, John, a very aggressive campaign. Radio, TV, flyers all over the place. Obviously, he really wants this job. He's really hammered IG on the hotel tax, which several other Republicans voted for as well. It's a lodging tax on visitors from the outside, but nonetheless, it still has at least an indirect impact on local business owners and a concern of competitive environment. But he's also hammered him on the transportation improvement, development, also funding for EMT. Mark was one of the 4 primary Republican candidates around 4 years ago, and he came up short to IG there. But I anticipate this being a tight race. If you just go by the signs, even just located around WGMD, it should be a close one.
Absolutely. And because the two of them ran against each other, something came up right before the election last time, and I.G. Burton won over Mark Schaefer. That's why this rematch 4 years later is heavily contested. There is no Democratic opponent, so whoever wins tonight will be sworn in January as the next 3rd District County Councilman. And, big issues for Republicans. Number 1, increasing my taxes. Number 2, slow traffic trying to get home to my house. And number 3, what are we trying to do to make the quality of life better? And that is where they've debated over what has been done, what hasn't been done, and what's been trying to do. So this race is important for the eastern side of Sussex County, especially if you live off of 24, Lewis Rehoboth Highway 9, and Route 1 Coastal Highway. And it covers the mid-eastern shore area from just south of Lincoln all the way down to outside of Rehoboth Beach, where the 4th District starts. And so that's why when you know that if you win tonight, you are in office for 4 years, this is one that they're fighting for every vote.
Jake, you're a resident of District 3, and you had asked a question on the air yourself. Why does Mark want this so badly? And I asked him that question this morning, and he said that it's always kind of been in his blood to serve the public, constituent service. He was the mayor of Smyrna at one point. He says that that's something that really has fueled him. But he also, earlier in interviews I've had with him, talked about taxes and his concern about the hotel tax, which was passed, which he can't do anything about now unless they would go back and repeal it. Currently, it's on hold because of COVID, though. But he talked about a concern of property taxes being raised and accused IG of telling people off the record, friends of his, that the current budget isn't sustainable and that IG would be in favor of increasing taxes. Now, IG says it's simply not true. He has not voted to raise taxes at all over the budgets that he's passed so far, and that he would continue not to do it. But it's something certainly that Mark has put out there in the forefront.
Mike, this was a nasty race. I don't think you can get around the fact that this was a very nasty race. Mm-hmm. And from someone who lives in the district, I can tell you specifically that a lot of people that I know and that I've talked to really, I think, started to consider Mark Schaefer right out of the gate. But then something happened. They started to question because of, let's face it. I mean, he really had a big media push. He really did.
Well, that's what I said, yeah.
I mean, we've had callers that called into our shows, but that is the sentiment in the district, that why does he want this so bad? And I asked it, and I got some emails saying, well, you have no right asking that. Yes, I do. I live in the district. I have every right to ask that. So it's going to be very interesting. Mike, I received from someone that I know, and I'm going to remain anonymous, some actual printouts of election station 3 in Long Neck. And let me see if I can read these. I have to blow them up because of what it says on, okay. Okay. All right.
Well, if you want to take a time out to take a look at those.
I got them right here. Okay. Julianne Murray, 95 votes in second place. Colin votes. Senator Brian Richardson got 8 votes. Let's go to...
Okay, so that's a gubernatorial race.
This is the gubernatorial primary. Blah, 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 blah. As far as for representative for Congress, Republican race. Lee Murphy, 142 votes. Let's see, Matthew Morris, 45 votes. Undervotes, 16. I'm not sure. Maybe John can tell us what that means, undervotes. I'm not sure. Those maybe are perhaps hanging chads, electronic hanging chads. I'm not sure. Let's see what else I can read from here. Here's another one for governor. Julianne Murray, 80 votes. Colin Benini in second place, 36. It just appeared, well, you can't, obviously, one station results, but at least we have something. And I guess at some point, if we don't get anything else, you could just consider me Chuckles the Clown.
Okay. Mary Tyler Moore reference there. Now, John, let me head over to District 2. You've got a three-way race there. And I think one of the things that's very interesting about this race is all the candidates are people that are very well known. Lisa Hudson Briggs, a longtime Delaware State employee, certainly followed County Council quite a bit in her run for office again here. Cindy Green, she's certainly known because she holds an office with Register Wills. And then Robert Wilson, who ran and sat on the Indian River School Board at one point. His father, of course, holds the seat the last 12 years that they're running for, that he's vacating, Sam Wilson. So these are all named candidates that people know. There's not a whole lot of difference policy-wise among the candidates, other than the hotel tax, which Cindy Green was against if it had come up during their time in office. Both Robert and Lisa were okay with that tax because it taxed lodgers, not locals. Cindy was against that. But it really, I think, comes down to their background and who's supporting them in getting out the vote in terms of people getting out in numbers.
This reminds me of the three-way primary for that seat 12 years ago in 2008. And that night, the candidate out of Georgetown, Bob Ricker, who owns the hardware store Baker's Hardware, was ahead. Sheriff Reed, who had lost re-election 2 years earlier, was running a little bit behind, and Sam Wilson was running behind. And we had 7 of the 8 districts in, but we only had a difference of 200 votes. And I said, we have to wait for that last district to come in. It's too close to call. That last district came in overwhelmingly for Sam Wilson because that was the Bridgeville area.
Right.
And that tilted the election. When you have 3 candidates with name recognition who have either run or held public office in that area, it is who gets out their supporters the most. This will be a really close race. And the machine totals that just were done by Jake, and I will explain that in a second, the undervote, the machine totals, since the absentee and the mail-in votes are separate, then it's going to have to be look at the machine totals, look at the absentee. I've had times, and I've seen candidates win the machine totals, but when you add it in with the absentee, lose the race.
Understood, John.
Because they get it. The undervote shows that some people may have voted in one race. Some people may have gone in to vote for Colin Benini or Julianne Murray and not voted for the Senate race and not voted for the congressional race.
Understood. Okay, that makes sense.
And that's why it's
so the totals don't match up then, and that discrepancy shows up.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Right. It's not always a given that somebody votes for every race that takes place on their ballot there.
You're right,
shows
Mike,
up on
and
their
my
ballot.
best story for that, I'm sorry, Jake, is that a husband and wife I knew went in to vote over at Cape Antelope High School, probably it was 2002, and the husband said to the wife, come on. And she said, I'm not finished voting. He said, I voted for John. There was no one else I was interested in. And that explains the best story of an undervote.
John, do you think that Senator Richardson's voting affirmatively for mail-in votes? Because I've heard from a number of longtime supporters that called into my show and said they love him, they've always supported him, but they will never vote for him again. They felt that he betrayed the trust of Republican voters by voting for mail-in votes. Senator Richardson, in his defense, indicated to me when he called into my show one day that it was part of, well, I hate to use a term deal, but you know the way things work in Dover. You support my bill, I'll support yours. Do you think that vote, mail-in voting, affirmative vote for Senator Richardson hurt his chances in this primary?
and you're going to hate me saying wiggle words, I'm going to say perhaps it's not going to hurt his chances in Newcastle County, but he wasn't as well known up there.
Right, that's true.
It was his large group in Sussex. Now, you can argue that he was concerned about the ones in nursing homes and the ones in older voters that would come out and support him because they've been longtime supporters of him, and people in Delmar, in Laurel, and Seaford from his ownership of the Star and from the community service he's done. But sometimes you make a vote and there could be consequences. We have heard that slogan, election has consequences.
Yeah.
We're raising here the issue, does a specific vote on a specific issue have a consequence? And the answer is, we have seen it in the past that a specific vote can cost you a primary.
Right. And here's the deal. And I want to go to Mary Lou here in just a second. Here's the deal, that Democrats have no desire to work with Republicans at this point. And depending on what happens in November, it might get even worse. So I understand there's always the argument, well, we tried to add amendments there to make the bill better. At this point, Republicans do not need to go down that road because they're going to get nowhere. And I do agree, Jake, that I think that certainly has hurt him with some voters there. I don't think there's any question about that. That's a hot button topic locally and nationally, and I think that certainly did hurt him among Sussex County voters. Mary Lou, let me bring you in here for the first time this evening. Go ahead. What do you have for us?
Well, just something to think about and to remember. The vote by mail was approved by the General Assembly back in June. But it's a one-time deal right now. It is just for the primary and the November election. It sunsets, it dies on at the end of middle of January.
Understood, but regardless, that's still, I think, and I appreciate your pointing that out because that is an important distinction. But nonetheless, I still think that rubbed voters the wrong way. But let me do this. I need to take a timeout. We'll come back as we wrap up the 8 o'clock hour here. It's 51 minutes past across Delmarva. The polls closed at 8 o'clock. You're listening to Delaware primary coverage here. There has been an issue with the elections website, and we've got Walt Palmer heading over to Georgetown to get more information there. We'll keep you up to date. I do want to bring Mark Fauser in at some point as well. We still need to get to the U.S. House and Senate races. We'll do that before the hour's through, and plenty more analysis and breakdowns to get to. And John Brady's got plenty of great political references and stories as well to all put things in perspective. It's 8:51. More Delaware primary coverage continues next at 92.7 WGMD.
In a world gone crazy, feel weightless floating in your new pool or hot tub from Seaside Marine and Pool. Make home your next adventure. Seaside Marine and Pool is literally giving you a free saltwater system valued at $1,400 when you buy a fiberglass in-ground pool or hot tub. Seaside Marine and Pool, serving the entire East Coast. Call 855-TRUMP-11.
Are you looking to enhance your outdoor living space all while increasing the value of your home? Let the experts at Wharton's Landscaping Design create the outdoor sanctuary that you've been dreaming of. From paver patios with seat walls and fire pits to paver driveways, outdoor lighting, and irrigation installation, Wharton's Landscaping has the creativity and expertise to make your dreams a reality. View stunning pictures of previous projects at whartonsde.com or call 302-227-0913.
As the seasons change, find whole home comfort from the team you can trust at First Class Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Crawl Spaces. Upgrade your home's heating efficiency and save big on any size Carrier system installed for just $6,995. For consistent comfort this winter, turn to the experts with a Carrier system at firstclasshvac.com.
For heating, cooling, plumbing too, First Class takes care of you.
Morningstar Publications publishes the Seaford and Laurel Star community newspapers, the Salisbury Star monthly newspaper, and the Morningstar Business Report. Pick up a copy of the Seaford or Laurel Star newspapers at your favorite convenience and grocery stores in western Sussex County. Learn more about our award-winning publications by calling 629-9788 or visiting our website, starpublications.online.
Ants, spiders, rats, and mice. Not only are they a nuisance, but carriers of disease. Now you can rid your home of pests with Accurate Pest Control's professional pest management program. Accurate Pest Control is a locally owned, family-operated business celebrating 25 years of servicing the shore. For the pest control company with a full staff of state-certified technicians with quality service, call Accurate Pest Control today at 302-875-2725 or visit accurate.pro. When I need to relax, I head straight to my jacuzzi, where I can really relax. Now that's more like it. Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Delaware. Sales, service, products, and free water testing all year long. Lewis and Millville. Shop local and call 302-645-7474 or visit spatubs.com and relax.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Imagine a heart supplement so effective it could replace 5 other supplements and guarantee your best checkup ever. Introducing Omega Q Plus Max, the super supplement that features a unique combination of clinically studied ingredients to promote healthy blood pressure, cholesterol, inflammatory response, blood sugar, blood flow, even brain and eye health. And right now, you can get a complimentary sample of Max just by texting DOSE to 42424. But talk is cheap, so we'll put our money where our mouth is.
I'm Dr. Steven Sinatra, and I spent over 2 years developing Max. I am so sure you'll experience a difference. I guarantee your best checkup ever.
That's right. Some of your best blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, and increased energy, or your money back. Get your complimentary sample of Max by texting DOSE to 42424. Plus, text now and you'll also receive a bottle of Dr. Sinatra's Magnesium, absolutely free. Text DOSE to 42424.
Has the COVID-19 pandemic changed your investment picture? Are you searching for proactive communication with your advisor? Herman Financial Services has been in Milford for the last 28 years as independent, objective investment advisors. We are a local, family-based, family-valued firm with a focus on income planning. We would like to partner with your family. Herman Financial Services, 302-424-1748.
Securities offered through Triad Advisors, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Triad Hybrid Solutions, LLC. A registered investment advisor. Herman Financial and Triad Advisors, LLC are not affiliated. Call Herman Financial today at 302-424-1748. That's 302-424-1748. Herman Financial Services.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
All right, 8:57 is the time. I want to head to our Newcastle County news studio and bring in Mark Fauser concerning election results. There had been a number of us that had noticed the state website that it appeared that it had just stopped or frozen. It reported that it was 7:34 and we didn't see anything, essentially, in terms of results. And, Mark, let's get the latest from you on what the situation is, because apparently the state's saying there has been no problem. I'm confused.
Well, the results have not been coming in as they normally would, of course, on election night about this time. 50 minutes in, you would expect to start seeing some results, but we have not. So the Elections Commissioner, Anthony Alves, the statewide Elections Commissioner, says there is not a known issue right now with the system, the tabulating system. Results are coming in. What they've been doing the past day or two is scanning the mailed-in ballots and the absentee ballots. They cannot start counting them until the polls close at 8 p.m., but they've been scanning them and preparing them to get ready. So they've been inserted. The machine votes have been counted as well, or are being counted. But in terms of anything that would cause alarm, would indicate that we're in for a marathon night, Anthony Alves, the elections commissioner of the state, says not at this point. Results are coming in and should be starting to post sometime soon. And for many of us, I'm sure the candidates as well would feel this way. The sooner would be the better.
Well, I guess when the timestamp was off, that gave us a reason to be concerned about what was going on exactly.
Yes, I inquired with that about, hope to hear back about, okay, why does it say that? Or is that just going to refresh once? I did. I should note, note as well that I checked it right after 7 p.m., And that timestamp you referred to said it was 7:34 still Monday night, last night.
Oh, there
now
you go.
Now it says Tuesday night, so it was
Okay.
updated about a half hour before the polls closed.
Okay.
But maybe it just gets updated once they do have votes to count. Let's hope so.
All right, very good. Well, we'll be back with you, Mark, as you're covering a lot of the upstate races. In fact, all the upstate state and House races, Senate and House races upstate. And we will be back to you on that. Also, the U.S. House race, we'll have you cover that. And then downstate, Mary Lou's got Sussex County Council. Also, the U.S. Senate, 2 downstate candidates running on the GOP side for that. And the gubernatorial results, which probably are the ones that people are most excited about to see. But, you county council races are probably not that far behind in Sussex. All right, let's get official. We'll come back and we'll head into hour number 2 of Delaware primary coverage right here. Mike Bradley, John Brady, Jake Smith, Mary Lou, Mark Fauser. Also, we've got Mark Giuliani, Julia Hardy, all working hard behind the scenes, and executive producer Walt Palmer. Keep it here.
Your national, state, and local election station is 92.7 WGMD, Rehoboth Beach, Del Mar, Berlin, the talk of Delmarva. This is Decision 2020, Delaware primary coverage from 92.7 WGMD, as we cover federal, state, and local races from up and down the first state, with analysis from John Brady and Jake Smith, election results from Mark Fauser and Mary Lou from the WGMD newsroom. We will also hear from the candidates themselves. Anchoring tonight's coverage is Mike Bradley, all from Delmarva's election station, 92.7 WGMD.
All right, 9 o'clock. The polls have been closed for an hour now. We'll have some unofficial results coming up, and then hopefully the official results as well. If you just joined us in the last couple of minutes, let me set the scene again, and we'll start downstate and work our way up. You've got Sussex County Council District 2 and 3 races, which are both Republican primaries, which also serve as the general with no Democrat opposition. In District 2, Lisa Hudson Briggs, Cindy Green, and Robert Wilson. The seat's being vacated by Robert Wilson's father, Sam Wilson, after 12 years. In District 3, the incumbent I.G. Burton is being challenged by Mark Schaefer, who was one of 4 Republicans who ran 4 years ago in the primary for the seat, along with Burton, who obviously won. There's a crowded field in the GOP gubernatorial race with 6 candidates from Sussex County, local lawyer Julianne Murray, Senator Bryant Richardson, who represents the western side of the county, also Greenwood businessman David Bosco. Delaware State employee and former Nanticoke executive David Graham out of Kent County, State Senator Colin Benini, and Scott Walker out of Newcastle County. Governor John Carney also being challenged tonight by progressive David Williams. There are federal elections tonight for the U.S. Senate. The incumbent Chris Coons is being challenged by Jessica Scarrain. On the Republican side, grassroots candidate Lauren Witzke is running against lawyer and Marine James DiMartino, who was previously run against House Speaker Pete Schwarzkopf. On the U.S. House side, Lisa Blunt Rochester, the incumbent, unopposed on the Democrat side. On the Republican side, former Amtrak employee and also part-time actor currently Lee Murphy. He fell in the Republican primary to Scott Walker 2 years ago. He's opposed by grassroots candidate Matthew Morris. Both are from Newcastle County. There are also upstate House and Senate races we'll be watching closely as well, where a number of progressives are challenging incumbent moderate to liberal Democrats. This could shift the Democrat Party further to the left, or Republicans, giving them a chance, give Republicans, that is, a chance to win in those seats and maybe actually gain some ground. And John Brady, we did not get a chance to cover the U.S. Senate and House races here on the GOP side, and also for the Senate on the Democrat side last hour. So let me start there, and then we'll work our way back down locally here and build ourselves up again. And we'll get to Jake, who has some results from one of the polling stations locally near him. But, John, as you take a look at the U.S. Senate, again, you've got a grassroots Lauren Witzke running against James DiMartino, who has run a couple of elections before. But certainly Lauren has been up and down the state, very aggressive, a lot of signs around as well. But she has certainly put in a lot of work here. Will it pay off or not? We'll have to see.
Yes, she's also been out campaigning, as you said. Over the weekend, she was with the Trump bus, and they were going up. They were up on in Kirkwood Highway, which is Route 2 in Newcastle County. They had stops in Kent. They had 2 different stops in Sussex over the last couple of days. Down here in Sussex, they also had the Trump store with them. And she has been being very aggressive. She's been more than transparent about her life. And she has worked very hard using the same model effort that Christine O'Donnell used in 2010 to upset Mike Castle. And so I see a lot of that balance in the campaign coming back again. And with James DiMartino, he's known in the 14th district for taking on Pete Schwarzkopf, and he did have a good response at the Republican nominating convention. But it's going to be interesting. Can you do a grassroots campaign against somebody that's run before? And it had success for Christine O'Donnell, and it may have success tonight for her.
Now, on the House side, Lee Murphy against Matthew Morris. I had Lee Murphy in studio this morning, and he said he has a monkey on his back from 2 years ago when he lost to Scott Walker. He got into the race late, but admits he needed to do a better job of promoting himself in Sussex County. And a lot of Sussex County voters voted simply because they saw more Walker signs than they saw Murphy. They really didn't even investigate the candidate. And some have, to their credit, admittedly, on my program in the morning, and maybe others have said, you know what, I made a mistake. I should have done my homework more. I should have voted for Lee Murphy 2 years ago. But they have a chance to reverse that tonight. And then, of course, he would be taking on the incumbent, Lisa Rochester. If he were to win, Matthew Morris, still a grassroots candidate. But I think Lee certainly has more name recognition because he's been campaigning ever really since he lost a couple of years ago.
And right. And what I think caught Lee Murphy off guard 2 years ago was, if you remember, the Republican Wisconsin governor in 2018 was Scott Walker. And so you may have heard Scott Walker's name when you're listening to the radio and television about things, and you see a Scott Walker and say, oh, he may be the same guy.
I see. Yeah.
You know, the confusion doctrine has gotten a lot of people elected and through primaries. And also, there's been stories in Delaware where somebody died the night before the election and they were still elected. So it's interesting. You get a name, you recognize the name, you may vote for the name, not realizing who you're really voting for.
Let me head to our hotline. WGMD executive producer, also ops manager, program director Walt Palmer is on our hotline. Walt, are you at Georgetown at DOE right now?
Yes, I made it to the Board of Elections where
Okay.
I'm seeing the same thing that the rest of the state is seeing. It's a website full of goose eggs. What we have learned here at the Department of Elections is that there is trouble getting the information from the polls up to DTI, the technical center for the state, and they are not getting able to get the information to there in order to get it out to the public. So nobody knows what's going on right now.
Now, Mark Fauser, let me bring you in here because, as you just mentioned, talking to the state, they made it sound like, hey, there's nothing wrong. Clearly, there is, at least out of Sussex.
Well, there's been a delay, certainly as well, especially to confirm on the ground in Sussex what's going on. Anthony Albans, the state elections commissioner, about 20 minutes ago indicated after an inquiry from us that they were still coming in terms of processing all of these votes, the combination of votes generated in person, by mail, and by absentee, and they would be uploaded at some point sometime soon. So it's time for a follow-up question to him to say what exactly soon meant, because that was 25 minutes ago. It's 9:08. This is not normal for the state of Delaware by any means.
Yeah. John Brady, and then we'll bring Jake Smith in. Walt, I'm sorry, do you have anything else, or are you just going to stand by for any further updates?
I'll stand by and let you know if I see anything.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll keep you potted down there, but on the line, or if you want to call back, that's up to you. John, run us through this year some of the changes, and is this predicted that we're going to possibly have some issues tonight?
Today was the first day all the polling places in the state were open. In the presidential primary in July, only certain polling spots were open, and everybody could either vote absentee or by mail or go to those consolidated polling spots. Today was a test of the statewide brand new system. You had to get a card when you checked in. You put the card in the machine. You voted. You reviewed your votes, and it printed out a receipt, and it took the card to take the vote. And so we're testing that tonight. We're testing how these electronic transfers take place. The Department of DTI, the State Technology Department, is running this operation for the elections department. And so this is not looking good. And for Mark Fauser, my good friend up there at the Northern News Bureau, all I can think is Anthony Albanese, the elections commissioner, and I probably mispronounced his name, playing the role of Kevin Bacon in Animal House with his hands up in the air, all is well, and he's getting run over by the lack of digital vote totaling that we have here at now 9:10 or 9:11 p.m.
Now, Jake, I'll bring you in now. Our WGMD newsroom will be providing most of the election results, but given the current situation, you have been providing some information. Of course, as talk show hosts, we are fortunate to be able to have plenty of sources and information passed along. I would say that, to be safe, let's just say these are unofficial, but what numbers have you received from your sources?
All right, I have a very reliable, actually Democrat source that's provided me with this information, Mike, before I get to actual numbers, additional numbers that I've gotten. All but 2 precincts reporting Cindy Green winning very big, Mark Schaefer winning very big. Also, here's,
again, how many precincts that is?
All but 2
All but
reporting.
2.
All but 2 reporting. Now, here's another printout that I've received. All right, let's take a look. Just as what I was talking about, Council District 3, Mark Schaefer, 166 votes. This is in, obviously, District 3. I.G. Burton, 106 votes. Now, Republican Governor, Colin Benini, 58 votes. David Bosco, 20 votes. Dave Graham, 7 votes. Julianne Murray, 151 votes. Senator Bryant Richardson, 19 votes. Scott Walker, 18 votes. Undervotes come up as 6. So that's what I have. And again, right now, these are unofficial totals, but it looks right now to be a good night for Julianne Murray. It looks to be, so down here in Sussex County, it looks to be a good night for Mark Schaefer.
All right, well, we'll continue to follow that. Again, we're going to call that unofficially, but that is information provided by a good source to Jake with that. As we reset the scene here, John Brady, as we talk about a number of races, going back to the gubernatorial here on the GOP side, 6 different candidates running for office. None decided to drop out. You thought that might be the case. Julianne Murray got the endorsement in Kent County a couple of months back, at least unofficially in Sussex County on this station, certainly drawing well. But there is certainly name recognition that Colin Benini has up and down the state, having run before and having been in office, for a while. That is, Senator Richardson hasn't quite been in that long, but of course he's got a strong base in Western Sussex County with that. But a number of Sussex County gubernatorial candidates, but really spread all across the state. I mean, David Graham has run for a number of elections. He's out of Smyrna.
You're right, and it's pretty interesting to have so many downstate candidates running in a primary, because in a 6-person primary, you could possibly win with 19 to 20% of the statewide vote. And so it's getting your turnout. And as candidates have said to you on your show when you've talked to them, it's getting your base out and voting. And to the in-person totals that Jake has been giving, remember, they are without the absentee votes,
right,
because of a problem we had in 2004 here in Sussex.
Yeah, fill us in on that.
What happened was we had a very tight county council race, general election in 2004 between incumbent Lynn Rogers and Judd Bennett, who was a Lewis City Council member at that point. And the night with the votes in and tabulated, there was a small difference of like less than 3 votes. So that meant it went to an automatic recount on Thursday morning, which that year was return day, as to board a canvass to determine who the winner was. When the board of canvass has to certify every election, they always meet the Thursday after an election, and they review the results and they certify them. If it's less than 1.1%, there can be an automatic recount. So what happened was, and it turned into a court hearing, and the court hearing ran almost all of return day. And the problem was found that in that time period in the general election, absentee ballots were sent to the polling places to be counted, to be manually entered into the report that the machine provided and they tape on the front door. And that's like the reports that you're seeing, Jake, pictures of that you're getting in. And those reports, then those ballots were wrapped up with the cartridge. And we used to joke about the cartridge having to come back in from Slaughter Neck. And that's why we didn't have results for over an hour.
John, if I could just interrupt you for a second. I've just gotten more information from that source. Right now I'm getting Mark Schaefer, 2,134 votes to I.G. Burton, 1,765 votes with one precinct left to count.
But
unofficial, but that is what I'm getting.
Without absentee.
Without absentee.
And the absentee votes, according to the director of the office, there were over 30,000 absentee ballots requested in Sussex County for this primary.
And it's my understanding the Department of Elections is actually on Mountain Time tonight, so that's why we're a little bit behind in counting.
Well, I was thinking it was a Lionel Richie all night long sign.
Yeah,
Walt Palmer just informed us that he was informed that local data is flowing to Wilmington without issues. There's a problem getting through a firewall at DTI, though.
Maybe we do have a problem with internet service here in Sussex County. Wasn't that an issue on your debate last week?
That's an issue all over the place. But yes, certainly among the local county council, but statewide as well, and they're working in tandem to try to fix that issue as well.
Right, and to finish up on that story quickly, sir, the 17 absentee ballots were lost in that 3rd district after they got to the polling place and were counted and did not make it back with the cartridge. Those 17 votes was greater than the difference they had, and they did not order, because we don't have a provision to order a re-election, but the election was certified and Lynn Rogers won by 3 votes. We've had that happen here in Sussex County for county council in 1974. And that's why under the new system, absentee ballots stay in Georgetown or Dover or Wilmington, are scanned and counted, but they also have to double check the scanning, because in 2008, they scanned the absentee ballots incorrectly because they were printed just a little off, and the wrong person was announced a winner. Trey Pardee was announced a winner in Kent County for a state house seat back then, and Pam Thornburg, told she lost that night, came to return day and was told at return day she was the winner.
All right, now we do have results, though, that are coming in at the website. So let me do this, Mary Lou. Let me start with you, as you're handling Sussex County Council District 2 and 3 races, the GOP gubernatorial race, and the U.S. Senate race, and then we'll head to Mark for upstate. So, Mary Lou, let's start with you, as finally we do have some numbers coming in. So.
Yes, it is about time. So far, I don't know what we have in the way of the amount of the votes that are in, but right now for District 2, I have Lisa Hudson Briggs with 41.77% of the vote. She's got 363 total. This does include machine and absentee. Cindy Green with 25%, a little 26%. Rob Wilson with 32%. 224 votes total for Cynthia Green, and for Rob Wilson, 282. For District 3 right now, I'm only seeing absentee ballots.
Right, which Jake gave us numbers of machine votes, but these absentees have I.G. Burton with a lead.
56.4% of the vote to Mark Schaefer's 43.6%. And again, we don't know how much of this, if this is the full of the absentee votes that have been put in.
I think it's close.
But we also don't have the machine votes. And I know upstate, Governor Carney said something this afternoon during his coronavirus update that there was something like 62,000 mail-in votes sent out in Newcastle County.
All right, now GOP gubernatorial results, Mary Lou, as we take a look at the crowded 6-person field. And yes, incumbent John Carney is being challenged as well. We'll get to that. But on the GOP side,
we really don't need to get to Governor Carney. He's got 89.89%
Well,
right
now
there
they know.
already.
Now they know.
And that is with machine and absentee, but again, we don't know how much. For the Republican side, because they're in alphabetical order, it makes it difficult. Colin Benini has 36.43% of the vote with 5,663 votes. David Bosco with 961 total votes, 6.18%. Dave Graham has 587 votes with 3.78%. Julianne Murray with 36.29%. She's just a little bit behind Colin with 5,642 votes. So she is actually 21 votes behind. Bryant Richardson with 1,343 votes. That's 8.64%. And Scott Walker with 1,349 votes at 8.68%. So it is very close right now between Colin and Julianne.
Now, as you scroll up to the U.S. Senators, since both are downstate candidates with Jim DiMartino and Laura Witzke, what are so far the numbers coming in for them?
Right now, DiMartino is leading. He's got 8,234 votes. That's 54.21%. And Lauren Witzke with 6,956 votes with 45.79%.
I have to admit, in that one, I'm a bit surprised at the margin so far on that one, but we'll certainly follow it. All right, let's switch gears. Mark Fauser in the Newcastle County newsroom. And Mark, upstate numbers as you take a look. Let's start first with the U.S. House, as both Republican candidates there are from Newcastle County.
Yes, and Lee Murphy with 10,700 votes so far. They've counted machine and absentee. Lee Murphy with 70.84% of the vote over the Republican challenger Matthew Morris with 29.16. So it looks like Lee Murphy is pulling away so far, at least, in the race for the Republican nomination for U.S. House to face Lisa Blunt Rochester, who is unopposed in her bid for re-election, Mike.
Now, there are a number of races that we're following upstate that have interest. The House District 4, the incumbent Gerald Brady against Amy Solomon. She's a progressive. Jordan Alley sits there on the Republican side. On the other side, awaiting the winner there. You've got District 8. That's the Middletown area with Sharia Moore, Matthew Powell, Yvette Santiago. That is an open seat. Daniel Sidfosky is a Republican waiting for the winner on that side. You've also got District 26. John Viola, the incumbent, against Gabrielle Adelagunja and Madonna Wilson Anton. So you've got that race going on there. Timothy Conrad on the Republican side awaiting. Earl Jakes in District 27 being challenged by Eric Morrison. I've been told he's in trouble. Morrison, a progressive. Donald Keister on the other side there. Those are just some of the races we're taking a look at on the House side. Results from those as you go along, Mark.
Right. Starting in District 4, Gerald Brady with 61.82% of the vote. They've counted machine and absentee vote so far. 61.8% Gerald Brady over Amy Solomon. Ray Siegfried, want to pay a little attention to him too as well, because he's facing a Democratic challenger, Representative Ray Siegfried in District 7. He is leading Larry Lambert, but not by much, 52.02% to 47.98%, just under 48%. Now, District 8, that's where Quint Johnson retired or stepped down from the General Assembly in the Middletown area. So there are 3 Democrats running for the Democratic nomination, and we have a very close race between Sheree Moore, 35.16%, and Yvette Santiago at just under 35%. So that is almost neck and neck right there, with Matthew Powell certainly not far behind as well at 30%. Incumbent Sean Matthews in State Representative District 10 is sailing on to a victory over Keith James in the Democratic primary, 88% to 11%. And in District 10, there is not a filed GOP candidate, right, to my knowledge. So Sean Matthews would get re-election there. Now, District 26, John Viola has more than half of the vote, 54.7%. The incumbent he is. Medina Wilson Anton, hoping to become the first Muslim to be elected to the General Assembly at 34.69%. She has run a strong campaign, out there campaigning a lot. And Gabrielle Olawale Adelongna has 10.5% there. Earl Jakes is trailing. Earl Jakes trails Eric Morrison. Eric Morrison with 63.23% to 36.77% for Earl Jakes, the incumbent in District 27. Now, we do have just 1,000 votes for Morrison and 582 for Earl Jakes tabulated so far. And we also have numerous other elections to talk about.
We'll go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
Just a quick mention of the city of Wilmington, because Mike Brzezinski, the incumbent mayor, has 55.9% of the vote as treasurer in his administration, who challenged him for mayor and has been battling with him over many issues. She trails by with 25%, and the other candidate is Justin Wright for mayor of Wilmington, Democratic nomination, now at just 19%. So that's how it's stacking up a little bit so far in Newcastle County tonight, Mike.
All right, and we'll come back to you a little bit later with the state senate races. We're looking at 1 and 5 and 9, 13 and 14 as well. All right, as the election results come in, and Mark, thank you. Taking a look, gentlemen, John and Jake, on the Sussex County Council District 3, we had Mary Lou read the absentee votes there, and I.G. Burton was leading in that department. However, they have 0 machine votes yet, and obviously, John and Jake, that can't be right. There obviously were machine votes today.
Yeah, I think this obviously, Mike, and does it say? And I know Mary Lou just texted me a moment ago about that. Well, now I don't even see that anymore.
And Walt
said
says
100% of the districts had reported, but we didn't have any results from District 2.
Right.
But all right. So it's still a mess.
Yeah, Walt says nobody here at BOE can explain this. John, as you take a look, what's your takeaway so far?
I'm looking at the time, and it says last updated at 8:38.
Yeah,
it's 9:25 right now.
And so what I'm thinking is they've sent it up. The first batch got through the firewall. The second batch hasn't. And that's why I don't think any of District 3's votes have made it up. And if you look at some of the upstate races, you can see in State Senate 5, there are no machine votes.
John, can I ask you quickly about the Republican primary for U.S. Senator? Martino, if you look at the absentee votes, Martino has almost double the absentee votes that Lauren Witzke had. What do you think Jim Martino did differently to garner all those absentee votes that Lauren Witzke did not?
Well, in a normal election, the way to get absentee votes and get them in your bank is for people in your campaign to go out and get people to apply for the absentee ballot and then follow up with them. And usually, nursing home visits, senior centers, these are places where you talk to people to get their absentee ballot filled out.
Right.
But this being a COVID year, you couldn't get in the nursing home.
Right. So how do you explain the wide variation in absentee votes between those two candidates?
You can get a list of who's requested an absentee vote, and you can call those people to say, I know you got an absentee ballot. I really would appreciate your support.
Right. Now, Witzke has a 900 vote edge on machine votes, but she's been out on the ground knocking doors to people that are likely to vote more in person, and you're seeing that. By the way, speaking of U.S. Senator, I'm not sure we covered the Democrat side, but for the reports coming out about Jessica Scarrain, and maybe at one point she did within the margin of error, but she's nowhere close at this point, as Chris Coons has 78% to her 21%. So the progressive push there is failing mightily in that race. But, gentlemen, we need to take a timeout. We'll come back with more Delaware primary election coverage. Let's see. Walt says no voter turnout, less than 15%. Well, that's certainly not good, but let's wait for all the numbers to certainly come in. All right, 9:27 is the time. Again, more Delaware primary coverage continues next here at 92.7 WGMD.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast weather. Tonight, partly cloudy, east winds at 5 to 10, low 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, south breeze 5 to 10, high 74. Partly cloudy, 68 tomorrow night. Thursday, mostly cloudy, a 30% chance of afternoon showers, 77. Still a chance of showers Thursday night. And Friday, mostly cloudy, chance of showers, high of 73. But Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, high of 68. Sunday, mostly sunny, breezy, 66.
Nobody said being a homeowner would be easy, but with Hershey Exteriors, they will help you to relax and enjoy how sweet it is to be a homeowner. Does your roof have a leak, or is it missing some shingles from a recent storm? Do your windows or siding look dated? Well, no need to worry. The professionals at Hershey Exteriors will give your home the update it needs and help you enjoy the sweetness of life. Visit them online at HersheyExteriors.com to learn more. And remember, life is sweeter with Hershey Exteriors. Attention, Worcester County farmers and small business owners, including sole proprietors with no employees. Applications are being accepted from now until September 18th at 11:59 p.m. for a second round of funding from the Workforce Back to Business COVID-19 Assistance Grant Program. Grant funds will be awarded in increments of $2,500. Businesses that missed out on the first round of funding can apply for the second round now at chooseworcester.org. Officials awarded over $1 million in the first round. Go to chooseworcester.org.
Don't miss Serta's big Labor Day sale, going on now through September 16th at Mattress Peddlers, your local family-owned Serta mattress store. Take $200 off every Serta, Odd Comfort, and Odd Comfort Hybrid. Mattress Peddlers prices include free delivery, free takeaway, and free setup. Visit Mattress Peddlers in the Peddlers Village Shopping Center in Lewis today, or online at mattresspeddlers.com, and sleep on a better bed tonight.
Mattress Peddlers.
Hey Delmarva, this is Penny Barrett, General Sales Manager here at First State Chevy in Georgetown. The temperature is getting hot and so are the deals here at First State Chevy. Take up to $6,400 off select Equinoxes and Blazers in stock, or lease payments as low as $261 a month. Now is the time and First State Chevy is the place. Give us a call at 302-856-2521 or find us on the web at firststatechevy.com. Come see the dealership that puts you, the customer, first.
Did you know Shager & Gas does more than just deliver propane? Hi, this is Mark Fry of Shager & Gas. Shager & Gas has been helping families in Delaware and Maryland for their water conditioning needs since 1963. Whether your home is on city water or well water, Shager & Gas and Hague Quality Water has a water conditioning system for you. Hague conditioning systems can help eliminate iron, hardness, nitrates, chlorine, and much more. What are you waiting for? Give us a call at 302-644-7700 and start cleaning up your water today with a Hague Quality Water system from Shager & Gas.
Do you need tires? Hi, this is Gary Rhodes from Southern States Milford. We sell BF Goodrich, Michelin, Uniroyal, and Cooper tires, including many economy tires. We sell and repair landscape and utility trailer tires. We have lawn and garden tires and tubes. We sell truck, tractor, and combine tires. We will install your tires at your home, business, or farm. From lawnmower tires to combine tires, we have you covered. Southern States is located at the corner of Route 14 and the Williamsville Road. Southern States, farmer-owned since 1923.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
All right, 9:31 is the time. Let me head out to Georgetown. Walt Palmer, are you there, sir? Do we have you on the news? All right, give us an update. You've been out of Georgetown. You left here in a blaze of glory to get the latest on the happenings with new computer systems and a new way of doing things this year. What are you hearing out of Georgetown as it pertains to Sussex County and result numbers?
What I am hearing is that the results are being collected here in Georgetown. They are being set up to Wilmington and the Board of Elections there. They are processing the update here and are transferred every 1 minute. So as the chips and the cartridges come in from the polling places, they're inserted to a computer and they're shot up to Wilmington. What we're seeing is an issue between the Board of Elections and the DTI website that is in charge of posting all the data onto the general website. They're just having issues getting through the firewall. So right now we're just about an hour behind our last results. We have nothing new here in the way of numbers. But what I have been watching are the number of cartridges and hand carried devices that are being brought back in here to the Board of Elections, being checked in by the poll workers and given to the election officials. So we are seeing the information coming in here, and we're seeing it leave, but we just don't know what's going on up north.
All right, WGMD Small Palmer in Georgetown. As we head back, John Brady, as you continue to pour over the numbers, your thoughts on what has come in so far, at least.
Well, and if you look at that screen you're reading, screen over to column 4 by county. And the race we're looking at the most is the Republican candidates for governor. And it's very interesting because right now, Colin Benini is 21 votes ahead of Julianne Murray. Benini got 1,800 votes so far down here, 1,868, and Murray got 3,070. In Kent County, as was expected, Colin is winning 2-1, but Newcastle County is only 700 votes apart. And by going over to the districts, you can see where there are not a lot of Newcastle County election districts have reported yet. So I call this preliminary. I don't think this race is 21 votes apart, but if it was to end 21 votes apart, that appears to be within the percentage for a recount. The last recount for governor on the Republican side was in 2000 with Bill Lee and John Burris, and it was less than 100 votes statewide separated those two. Burris won, and then Lee was the candidate the next two elections for governor.
John, Mike, I have just gotten more printouts, photographs of printouts from Kent County, excuse me. First machine I'm looking at, Colin Benini, 23 votes. Julianne Murray, 22 votes. Another one, Colin Benini, 43 votes. Julianne Murray, 75 votes. And the next one, Colin Benini, 20 votes. Julianne Murray, 53 votes. And here's another one, Colin Benini, 30. Senator Bryant, Julianne Murray, 46 votes. So the news out of Kent County is certainly more encouraging than what the numbers that we're looking at now.
Yeah. Well, this is a situation, though, where you take a look at a tight race between Murray and Benini, and I think we figured that likely would be the case just based on what we've heard and what we've seen leading into tonight. But This is a situation where you have 6 candidates, and whoever might come up short, if it's to be the case that it's within, say, 100 votes or maybe even 50 votes, you take a look and say, well, we've got 4 other candidates that siphoned off votes that could have gotten me over the top. Whoever that might be.
Well, what is the criteria for an automatic recount, John? Or when can a candidate request a recount? What are the what's the criteria for that?
I'm sorry, Jake. At the board of canvass on Thursday morning,
right,
a candidate can request a recount by county and or by district if they're running in a representative district or running for county council district or senate district, or they make the request for a recount statewide if they're within a certain 0.5%. Right now, the way I'm looking at it, the gubernatorial race is within 0.5%. I'm also looking, and our good friend up north, Mark Fauser, is going to also tell us that right now we have districts where it is 50.57 to 49.43. The difference is 32 votes.
Wow.
That would be close enough for a recount. And that's one of the races I highlighted earlier with you, Mike, State Senate 13. And I also talked to you about House seat, which Mark talked about a few minutes ago, State Representative District 27. And since those are very contested, I told you were prone for upset. Mm-hmm. We also see for the new another race Mark has that it's within 1% between 2 candidates so far for Newcastle County Council President. So we have the potential for recounts, and the problem with not having the ballot certified Thursday pushes off the ballots being printed and sent especially overseas to our military.
Wow. Yeah, John, you mentioned that to me earlier. I'm sorry, Mike. John mentioned that to me earlier today when we were talking. Go ahead, John. Explain why that is crucial to those in the military.
And it wouldn't be affected by the lawsuit, but if you're one of the categories that's permitted under current law that's not part of the lawsuit is if you're in the service of the U.S. government, you're allowed to get an absentee ballot. Say, for example, you're deployed in Iraq. we're now 49 days from an election. By the time they get printed, we're going to be less than 40 days that they've been mailed. They've got to go overseas, be executed, be mailed back, and be received by Election Day.
Yeah.
And that is a big issue that could be caused. That could have people saying you're disenfranchising our military voters.
Well, gentlemen, we need to take a time out. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Phone calls are certainly welcome as well at 302-945-9292, 800-518-9292. You can email mike.bradley@wgmd.com, jake.smith@wgmd.com, news@wgmd.com, and we'll certainly read those on the air, take your phone calls, but more analysis here in Delaware Primary Coverage 2020 continues next at 92.7 WGMD.
This WGMD Marine Weather Report is brought to you by Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Delaware, your satisfying solution for every season. Call 302-645-7474.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast Marine Weather Report. Area waterways, small craft advisories continue overnight, expiring early Wednesday morning. Seas settling down around 3 feet along the coast. Then Wednesday, south-southeast winds 5 to 10 knots with mostly sunny skies. Seas at 2 to 3 feet. And farther out, seas around 5 feet overnight. Then Wednesday, south-southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas only at 3 to 4 feet.
Bed bugs are a major problem around the world, and those little bugs could leave you itching with bite marks. They can hitchhike into your home in various sources and harbor in all types of cracks, crevices, and furniture, affecting your comfort and health. Locally owned and family-operated Accurate Pest Control has a full staff of state-certified technicians who specialize in locating and exterminating bed bugs. Get a restful night's sleep. Call Accurate Pest Control today at 302-875-2725 or on the web accurate.pro.
Delmarva Law Enforcement Supply is Sussex County's leading firearms dealer, serving everyone and trusted by local law enforcement. They now offer USCCA membership, which is a liability insurance policy. Join today for peace of mind and free bonus gifts. With the broadest inventory selection on Delmarva, you gotta visit Delmarva Law Enforcement Supply on Iron Branch Road in Dagsboro. Just look for the banner that says guns.
We keep you warm when it's cold outside. We keep your water hot.
Don't let high heating costs give you the chills this winter. Instead, call us at Baker Petroleum so you can feel the warmth of savings by enrolling in our pre-buy and price cap program. Call us at Baker Petroleum today at 302-684-8569.
You're good to go. You can depend on Baker Petroleum. You're good to go.
Wharton's Garden Center is much more than your average garden center. Stop by to create the outdoor and indoor sanctuary that you've been dreaming of. Outside, you'll find daily new arrivals of trees, annuals, pottery, and more. Enter inside the gift shop to find everything from modern decor to festive Caspari paper goods, crafted pottery, homemade soaps, and ornaments. And don't forget to pick up a delicious fruit pie or their new summer J Artisan fruit pops. Open daily with constant new arrivals. Visit Wharton's Garden Center on Airport Road, Rehoboth.
Wouldn't it be great to see your windows in a whole new light? Do it right. Call your local neighborhood experts. Budget Blinds. You'll get beautiful style and expert service for every budget with the #1 provider of custom window coverings in North America. Go online or call Budget Blinds and get a free consultation right at home. Now that's beautiful. At participating independently owned and operated franchises only. Ask for details.
Call your local Budget Blinds at 302-856-6799.
Crawl space or basement concerns? Don't wait. Call Dry Zone now so they can come out and give you a free estimate to stay safe and dry all the time. Call Dry Zone 302-684-5034 or visit dryzone.com.
Time for a new cabin air filter? We can help with that. Lewis Meineke inspects every cabin air filter, coolant system, air filter, brakes, tires, and more with our oil change service. Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Tune in this Thursday at 9:20 a.m. as I will be Delmarva Live with special guests Community Bank Delaware. Tune in to learn about their banking services. Community Bank Delaware, headquartered right here in Sussex County. It's where community matters.
Listen to the Rehoboth Foodie on 92.7 WGMD, Saturdays, 2 until 4 p.m. Brought to you locally by the Good Earth Market and Restaurant, Ocean View, Westside Restaurant, Milford, 1776 Steakhouse, Rehoboth.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
All right, at 9:43 the time, let me check in before we get back to John and Jake. Let me check in the newsroom with Mary Lou. Mary Lou, just not a whole lot of information here over the last, 20, 30 minutes, if not longer, huh?
It's been about an hour since we last saw results come in.
There you go. Okay, so we're still stuck. So what we're giving folks now is certainly not the final numbers. It's just what is there so far at the elections website.
Pretty much so, yeah.
Okay. Mark Fauser, have you been able to find out any more information or anything of note that sticks out to you from these initial numbers that you're taking a look at?
It's interesting to see, Mike and company, that the several upstate districts do not have any of the machine ballots counted yet, and it is nearly an hour. I don't know technically how they do this, but you would think they might be some of the easiest to get to. But looking down here in District 5, for example, that's the one where 3 Democrats are vying to compete against incumbent Republican Kathy Cloutier. No machine votes have been counted there yet. Same goes in another district, District number 7, Ray Siegfried's district in the House, and the District 8 as well. No machine votes counted yet, with 3 Democrats vying for the seat that was vacated by the retirement of Quinn Johnson. So still a lot of numbers to be counted. I should add as well, Senator Chris Coons just completed a brief conference call with the media, not really claiming victory, but saying he appreciated the support that's been shown to him in the primary election today, as Chris Coons tries to beat back a challenge from a progressive candidate, Jessica Skarain, at last check, with 50,000 votes, or 78.2%, to 13,700 for Jessica Skarain, getting 21.28%. So no claims of victory, no concessions yet. Things we would like to see by 10 p.m. on a normal election night, we are not seeing right now, Mike.
Well, and Mark, we already got an email, at least I did, I believe Jake probably did as well, that the Human Rights Campaign came out with a press release that HRC National Press Secretary Sarah McBride won the Democrat primary for Delaware's first state Senate district when elected in November. In a heavily Democrat district, McBride will become the first openly transgender person to serve in the upper chamber of a state legislature in American history. And then they give a statement from the HRC president, Alfonso David. And then they talk about some of the other numerous transgender state legislative candidates. So they're calling that, according to those folks.
Well, not too risky, being that McBride had 93% of the vote to Joseph McCall for 6%. So if they want to claim victory, go right ahead. If there's a dramatic turnaround, we've got a new top story.
Yeah, we certainly do. All right. Well, Mark, I appreciate that. Gentlemen, from here, we, I guess, need to caution ourselves about making or reading too much into these numbers at the moment, unless there's such a wide gap. Certainly in the gubernatorial race, no surprise about Murray and Bonini being the top 2. That's tight, as we expected would likely be the case anyway. Murphy does have a wide lead in that House race on the GOP side, but right now with Witzke and DiMartino, too close to call at this point, with a lot more numbers that have to come in, even though right now it shows a 9% advantage for DiMartino. I'm not ready to say anything there quite yet.
Well, Mike, one thing is very, very clear from these results that we have already gotten, and that is Scott Walker has more signs up than votes.
I guess that's right. Yeah. But that said, John, as we take a look, depending on how this all turns out, top 2 candidates, whoever finishes number 2 is going to say, if those other candidates had dropped out, or some had dropped out and rallied around me, now it doesn't mean they automatically would have, granted, but that might have put me over the top. Again, we'll have to see how this all plays out. But certainly, I think if you're Julianne Murray, that's the concern, because Colin Bonini has name recognition. He's run an election before, and he's been in office for a long time. So she knows that she's going up against somebody that has an advantage on her. That's her concern about having 4 other candidates siphoning off, potentially, I should say, siphoning off votes. But you'd have to think that, if some of the others, like maybe a Graham or Richardson or Walker, that, yeah, she would have got at least some of their votes, I would think.
And you're right. And there have been times I was primaried 3 times. I spoke to my opponents all 3 times. They said they wanted to pursue it. I said, fine. I was willing to accept the results. So were they. My closest primary was 277 votes. And when you're out there on that mission and you feel like you have the support and you're carrying an issue that's true to you, when someone says, hey, I'll refund your filing fee if you get out now, that's not always what you want to hear. And as such, I understand why some of the candidates continued. However, they were all basically advised that if you divide the party seriously in a primary, it makes it real tough to win, especially since we have, as Jake says, 48 days to retrend, regroup, and push forward to the general election. That's almost the shortest amount of time of any state across the country. In fact, 7 states have already started their mail-in balloting for the general election.
Here we go. And as we take a look at, Jake, we'll get to you in just a second. As we take a look at Sussex County Council District 2, let me start there, John. As you take a look, these clearly aren't all the numbers that are in. There's more votes that have to be coming in than 700 to 800 right now that we're seeing there, right?
Yes, and honestly, what we have found out tonight, the lead story is the DTI DOA connection is not working. Because in a perfect and even a ordinary world, based on elections, I think Mark Fauser would agree with me and Mary Lou, we have substantial results right now, and that we would be only with a few minutes to come as we're coming up on the 10 o'clock hour, we would be ready to wrap it up. But we've had 2 batches of votes come in through DTI. We had the first batch. Well, actually, we've had 1 batch that's timed at 8:38. So we haven't had new votes for an hour and 12 minutes. That should be deemed unacceptable.
And DTI, for folks that don't know, DTI stands for what?
Delaware Technology Department. The I stands for something, but DTI is where the state consolidated all the computer services, technology, everything. And now the individual state cabinet departments have to turn over their systems to DTI. And DTI is responsible for managing the computer superhighways in the state of Delaware.
Well, Mike,
and right now,
John, can I ask you both a question, please? John,
yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you, but John Carney has overseen a lot of technology supposed improvements in the state since he's been in office. We just had a hurricane last month. The EAS system failed on multiple occasions. We've got this system that failed on multiple occasions. Who do we blame for these technology failures from Delaware state government, John?
It's a cabinet agency with the secretary appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. And to make sure I get this correct, I thank my good friends on the feed here, Department of Technology and Information. I couldn't remember what the I stood for. Thank you, Mary Lou. And, you know, a lot of people are going to say the big winner in Delaware and the big loser tomorrow. The big loser may be 3 Democrats so far who were defeated by progressive candidates. But the really big loser in Delaware are the folks in this system that is not working and that is critical to work properly for elections.
This is a disgrace. It really is.
This is the first time they have this new system activated in the full capacity of the Department of Elections. And other things we saw today and heard about were machine breakdowns, were ballot breakdowns. Even a cabinet secretary said, I applied for a absentee ballot and I couldn't get, it didn't come in the mail. And so they had to check to see I could go vote. That has to be unacceptable.
All right, gentlemen, let me pause here. We're going to go to Walt in just a second. I received a text from a listener, though, that said that one of the local TV stations is calling races. Do they have access to the data? You guys do not. I don't. I think that's a bit premature unless they do, because we certainly don't. We certainly don't have that. But let me head on out to Board of Election at Georgetown, WGMD executive producer, and of course OM and PD of WGMD, Walt Palmer, joining us. Walt, go ahead. What do you have for us?
Mike, I was just talking to election officials here in Georgetown at the Board of Elections, and they're saying that all the data of votes here in Sussex County have been transmitted north.
Okay.
That all the cartridges and all the hand containers have been delivered back here to the Sussex Board of Elections. So basically, we're done here in Sussex. All the data is now up north. And they have talked to their data officials. They have their top folks at DTI working on this, trying to get the information sorted out and distributed. But that's where the hang-up lies at this moment.
Now, he didn't say, I don't know whether I can give his name or not, so to be safe, I will not. But I did get a text from a senator that says here, Department of Elections is pulling all the data. It is incorrect. Now, I just refreshed it. I haven't seen it pulled yet. But that adds some more cloudiness to the whole situation right now as to these results. I don't know whether we should, at this point, give any analysis on these numbers, hearing that. And also, I did get a text from GOP Chair Jane Brady, who said there's some misinformation out there. There's not 100% count, only 27% in the gubernatorial race. So that would leave, obviously, a lot more votes. So there's a lot of ambiguity right now, gentlemen, to say the least.
This is not the first time this has happened with a wrong numbers up. 2008, and that was the year that the line went bad for about an hour and a half, and there were no downstate votes. At 8 o'clock, when they opened up the screen, they had everything looking like they were real votes, but they were the mock elections from the school that were left up on the screen. So we have a history of not being really great.
Well, I received an email. I received an email from a listener who said if we are experiencing this with a 14.66% voter turnout, what is it going to be like in 49 days? And you know what? That's a very good question.
Well, it means I'm not getting any sleep. You're not getting any sleep. None of us are getting any sleep.
Well, if we're not getting any sleep, Mike, you want me to go over tomorrow's Delmarva Live preview for you right now?
Yeah, that's okay. Let's do this. Let's take a time out, though. We'll come back as our primary coverage continues. Now, we were speculating we might be roughly 8 to 10 p.m. tonight. Obviously, we're going to exceed that as we head into the 10 o'clock hour. Still plenty to get to. As right now, numbers, it's completely up in the air. Even what you're seeing on the state website, we're being told by some pretty good people that are in high up places that the numbers are incorrect. So we will be back with more as we may reset the scene here and try to get a grasp of all that's happening here. You're listening to Delaware Primary Coverage on 92.7 WGMD.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast weather. Tonight, partly cloudy. East winds at 5 to 10, low 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. South breeze 5 to 10, high 74. Partly cloudy, 68 tomorrow night. Thursday, mostly cloudy. A 30% chance of afternoon showers, 77. Still a chance of showers Thursday night. And Friday, mostly cloudy, chance of showers, high 73. But Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, high of 68. Sunday, mostly sunny, breezy, 66.
Maryland Farm Bureau is the voice for the farm family across the state. Now members can get exclusive benefits and savings from Nationwide Insurance with a number of policies to protect your farm, buildings, equipment, livestock, and more. Get protection tailored to your farm's needs from Nationwide and save with the Farm Bureau. Maryland Farm Bureau and Nationwide offer your farm broad coverage that can be customized to your farm's unique needs. Visit nationwide.com/MFB to learn how you can save on your farm insurance with Nationwide and the Maryland Farm Bureau.
Nationwide is on your side.
COVID-19 has thrown a wrench in our plans this year. While vacations may seem impossible, have you considered a staycation in Havre de Grace, Maryland? Havre de Grace is open with open-air dining at our restaurants, shops, museums, and our waterfront boardwalk promenade for you to safely enjoy. Come explore what one of America's best small towns has to offer. Just 45 minutes from Baltimore, an hour from Philly, and right in your backyard. Grab your masks and discover the historic charm of Havre de Grace. Socially distant, but close to home.
Did you know that Stokely Materials is your exclusive local Cambridge dealer? Hi, this is John Dorman, GM of Stokely Materials. Take advantage of exclusive top quality products and save with Stokely when you select from pavers and retaining walls to mulch, decorative stone, sand, soil, and much more. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our newest location in Nassau at 32416 Lewis Georgetown Highway, just 1 mile west of Route 1 Lewis, or visit our Georgetown location on Route 113. We're also a click away at StokelyMaterials.com.
You can't stop the cold weather outside, but first-class heating and air conditioning will make sure it's not sweater weather inside your home. Warm up with savings today by calling First Class to schedule your $79 heating system tune-up. Choose preventive maintenance on your heating system this fall for peace of mind this winter. Schedule your heating system tune-up. Call First Class 302-934-8900.
For heating, cooling, plumbing too, First Class takes care of you.
The queen approacheth.
The termite queen can lay between 20 and 30,000 eggs a day and can live for 50 years. And those millions of termites can eat over $5 billion a year in damage. Take your home off the menu with termite protection by Brazier's Pest Control. The experts at Brazier's use over 40 years' experience to administer the best protection in America, 6 times faster than Bates, with long-lasting protection. Call Brazier's Pest Control and defend your castle.
When I need to relax, I head straight to my jacuzzi, where I can really relax. Now that's more like it. Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Delaware. Sales, service, products, and free water testing all year long. Lewis and Millville. Shop local and call 302-645-7474 or visit spatubs.com and relax.
Jake Smith here. Out and About Wednesday is back again, and this week we will be live on location from 9 a.m. to noon at Kim Benton State Farm. From auto to home and life insurance, visit your local Millsboro agent, Kim Benton State Farm.
Your national, state, and local election station is 92.7 WGMD, Rehoboth Beach, Delmar, Berlin, the talk of Delmarva. This is Decision 2020, Delaware primary coverage from 92.7 WGMD, as we cover federal, state, and local races from up and down the first state with analysis from John Brady and Jake Smith, election results from Mark Fowler and Mary Lou from the WGMD newsroom. We will also hear from the candidates themselves. Anchoring tonight's coverage is Mike Bradley, all from Delmarva's election station, 92.7 WGMD.
All right, 10 o'clock across Delmarva. The polls have been closed for 2 hours now, and numbers that we initially were seeing at the Delaware election website are apparently, well, incorrect. We're getting good word from from a number that is of local officials that tell us that to be careful, that the Department of Elections is pulling all of the data. A number of local representatives have been working the numbers, and they say it just didn't add up. Too close to call, too soon, it messed up. I can't imagine the general election was a comment there. We had even a local TV station that started calling races when they probably shouldn't have, but they might not have known better given the information that was passed along. WGMD's Walt Palmer was just checking in with us here. And actually, Walt, let me go out to you because you're in Georgetown at BOE right now. And what's the latest from there?
I was just talking to officials here in Georgetown, and they confirmed that all the data was taken over to Department of Motor Vehicles here in Georgetown. That data was transmitted up to Dover to the Bureau, to the Board of Elections there, and that information is then sent over to the Department of Technology and Information for dissemination. And they cannot. All they know is all the data has left Sussex. They're going to be turning off the lights here shortly, because their job is done here in Sussex. All the issue is up in Dover, and all they can say is they're working on it, but don't believe what you're seeing, because the data we're seeing now is over an hour and 20 minutes old with no corrections and no upward numbers.
And we're being told that those numbers aren't even correct wherever they're getting them from is a question. All right, well, thank you there. We bring in John Brady and Jake Smith, and guys, the candidates themselves must be on pins and needles, especially those that saw initial numbers that now they're rethinking and saying, well, where do we stand? Where do we truly stand? They may have initially thought, oh, hey, I've got a chance. I'm in this. I'm leading. And now they may think, well, who the heck knows at this point? That's going to be the worst feeling for a candidate.
It is. And, Mike, I have spoken to a candidate whose name we've said a lot tonight. And showing a difference of 20 votes is, do I get a recount? And I said, the numbers aren't all in. Just relax. Breathe deeply. When we get numbers, we'll have them on the air. These numbers are not complete. I don't know if I go as far as say they're incorrect. I think the best answer is, because I think they did a first batch, and it shows still 8:30.
8:38:14.
8:38:14. I just
a date
there
a
hasn't
time which
been
will live in infamy.
a second update, and that's the problem. We are used to knowing how many districts have reported in. We don't have this on the new website. We are known about percentage. We have it says 14.66, but if you read the line underneath of it, it says 80,000 of 556,000. That's all together. Yeah. So they've blended those numbers. The first thing at DTI, and I know the guy in charge of DTI, and he is not happy. I'll tell you that right now. Nice guy, not happy.
Well, he should be fired.
Well,
I mean, John, he should be canned after what happened tonight. I mean, enough of this nonsense. I mean, we're paying for this, and they can't even get a primary done efficiently.
Well, before we get into that for a second, let me call a timeout here. A state senator texting me saying absentee data, John, showing cannot even be correct. Numbers don't match up to what was reported in total numbers as of yesterday. So that's where we're getting the numbers maybe all wrong. Now, again, John, I trust you as well. Bottom line is what we are seeing is either incomplete or inaccurate, but it's not the final product. That's the bottom line, though.
It is. But the thing is that what we have is we are so used to having numbers quickly and accurately. And when now we've hit a road bump where we don't. And I'm seeing some things changing every time I refresh.
Now, Mark Fauser just texted. Did you see his
Yeah, he
message,
says,
Mike?
the commissioner says, quote, just about all results in, expect updates shortly. well, okay, but are those the actual numbers?
Yeah, the News Journal just printed a headline, Dewey beats Truman.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm seeing that...
You have to have some fun tonight, folks.
Listen, what else can we talk about?
Yeah.
A local station is reporting the final results of what we are showing up here. And I'm saying they're not the final results.
Right.
And that's why we have you and others that are a part of this, because we want the experts, those who have been a part of this for many years.
All right, now there was just a change that just came up. Mike, could you pipe Mary Lou in?
Yes,
Lou, I'm
absolutely.
seeing a change to the district's reporting. Now we're at 371 of 436 precincts
I just saw that myself.
Right, with a voter turnout of just over
29.0, not 14 point. Now that is significant, John.
Yeah.
That is a significantly higher increase. Normally 14% in a primary. I'm going to say, that is always... by the way, Julianne Murray's up to 41.73%. She's beating Colin Bonini now by by 8 points. So,
with the machine votes being a difference, and at this point, too, in the U.S. Senate, Lauren Witzke's up by 13 percentage points.
Wow, look at that.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes, John. Please do.
If on your site you download the CSV report, I have better numbers on there.
Okay, go ahead.
And it looks like there's some final numbers on there. And I thank our Irish Italian, Mark Giuliani, for his help with that. What it is showing in this is that Mark Schaefer at 3,163 votes, or 50.3%, to I.G. Burton at
3120.
3120, or 49.66.
Right.
It is also showing that Cindy Green is at 39. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, 39%. Robert Wilson, 31. Lisa Hudson Briggs at 29. But the question is there a recount that would end up being the case in District 3 for Sussex County Council?
That's a very close amount. And what it looks at is, because it is that close, it is possible. But when you do the numbers together, you're looking at a difference of 43 votes.
Wow, look at that.
And if they are those final numbers, then yes, based on the math that I remember, 43 votes is close enough out of 7,000 votes cast that I believe they can ask for the recount.
Now, again, John, we don't know. Are these the final numbers, if you will? Are these the
Likely
official?
not.
Yeah, it says unofficial results right now. On the
Well,
website.
it won't say if. I don't think it'll be official until Thursday at,
Okay,
at the
well,
earliest.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But if it looks like this, if these are the correct results, then I'm looking at Bonini and Murray.
Yeah.
And it looks like at that point...
John, try to speak more to your mic there.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
I know.
read it. If this is correct, and I'm going to need some help, this surgically repaired eye is giving out on me. It looks like Murray has 21,000 votes.
Yeah.
And it looks like Bonini has 17,000,
Right.
which means if these are final results, then you have that close race. That's not close enough for a recount. But what's missing off of this report is how many districts have reported in here, and because we need that number to go to see if it's final. These Sussex votes may be, because Sussex, as you heard from the man who does all things well, Walt Palmer, out at the Election Bureau, said all the Sussex results are up, but it's not looking like the rest of the state results are up.
Okay. All right. Well, at this point, Walt says, look at District 3. I don't see any change to what we just read from District 3.
Unless you just missed us
very
making
close
right.
race.
Unless you just missed us making mention of it, but you're absolutely right.
It's also possible that
Folks,
all
it's
of
now
the-
been updated. Sorry to interrupt. It's now been updated, the website, to 9:27 p.m.
Oh, boy. So we're on Eastern time
Well,
now.
there's
Oh,
still
no, we're on Central time.
There's still a 43 vote difference there that we're seeing.
And
In
that could-
District 3, Sussex County Council, that is.
Right. And also, if you click over to column number 4 on the statewide at the top, you can see for those federal and state races by county, we've now seen where the county votes, I'm pretty sure there are more than 16,000 Republican voters in Newcastle County. And so that's why I don't think they're all in. But these votes show, and Mary Lou, I'll let you go with this.
Wow.
It looks like Murray has a 4,000 vote lead, which is what I just read, but I can't tell if this is all the votes. I'm pretty
Right,
sure
that's
there
the
are
problem.
more voters in Newcastle County. They may be correct for Kent and Sussex.
Right.
Yeah, John, I agree with you. It doesn't look to me, when you look at it in the abstract, that all the votes are there. But if you look at Julianne Murray's results in Newcastle County, wow, that is absolutely shocking.
All right, and I
Unless
just
not all the
found
precincts
something
are
else
reported.
on that report on the county where we're looking at by county.
Right.
You look to the far right, it's 371 out of 436 precincts reporting, and now it's showing a 29.07 voter turnout percent. So my belief, because I can't see it by election districts, is we're still waiting for votes in Newcastle, but we may be close to having, as Walt just reported, all of the Sussex votes in and possibly all of the Kent votes in.
So, John, talk about this voter turnout. Maybe Mary Lou can give us her feelings as well. 29.7% turnout for a primary. Since I've been down here in 10 years, I can't remember a primary election having getting this much
But
attention.
here's
What do
the
you think?
problem, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Mike.
That's okay.
Just stun me when you need to. What they have done is they have blended the Republican and Democrat. Remember earlier tonight we talked about 4 years ago there was a 14% Republican and a 17%. Well, 14 and 17 is 31.
Okay, so
And if that is how they're doing it, but here we have it by aggregate, 556,000 give or take a few voters, and they have 159,000 voting. 159,000 people voting in a primary election, I think, is greater than what happened 4 years ago. And we're going back to the 2008 primary between Markell and Carney, two statewide elected officials who ran against each other in the Democratic primary. And that was an incredible turnout that year. And we may have, because of the interest in some of these races, that type of turnout tonight.
Well, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. If that's a blended number then, and it's roughly, let's just say roughly it's 15 and 14, 14 and 15, then to me, that's not such a great number for the parties.
Well, Mike, you have to look at it as what they haven't put up is the number of voters against the number of registered voters.
Right, that's the number
by party.
Right.
And since we know there are a bigger number of Democrats, this number may be, when it's broken out by those two parties, may be larger for the Republicans and lesser for the Democrats.
Okay, fair enough. And we'll have to see. I would certainly think in a COVID year, and with there being a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm about Republicans having a chance to win the governor's house, that number would be higher. But Jake, let me bring you in on this with the governor's race here on the Republican side. Of course, that one is being highlighted because Carney winning commandingly over David Williams Jr. As you take a look, Julianne Murray winning convincingly in Sussex, and based on our unofficial poll on the station here, that's not a surprise. No. But coming within 900 some votes in Kent County, that's pretty significant. Colin, though, winning there. Also, Colin winning in Newcastle, but she came within 1,100 there. And again, I guess with a gentleman who's been in office for many years, has run an election before as well, that to come within those margins and then win, obviously, by the way she has in Sussex, that is a campaign well done in those counties. And that's
an
why
improvement
she's
over what any Republican has done.
Right.
Recently, that is a significant improvement. John,
yeah,
Julianne Murray can she carry the state? Can Sussex County carry her
Possibly,
victory?
yes, but I got some new information thanking to our technical staff here. So far, they've tabulated 107,000 Democratic votes and 49,000 Republican votes. And they have it broken out by party. There are 65 districts out, so we have 14% of the districts still to come in. And with that, we have Coons winning by a large margin. But I'm going in now to the governor's race. I'm trying to get that back up here now on this other report. And here, what I'm finding out here in the governor's race is that they're still reporting 21-17. And it's telling me by county in the governor's race that there are 7,000 votes for Benini and Newcastle versus 6,000 for Murray. But Murray has won Sussex with 11,000 votes to Benini's 5,000. And they are within less than 1,000 votes apart in Kent County. And so what we're seeing here is that we're going to have to wait down to the last minute, but it looks like by county, for the county offices here in Sussex, we may have those final figures.
All right, guys, let me grab a phone call here. Caller's been waiting patiently. Thanks so much for holding on. You're up at WGMD. Go ahead.
Mike?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Penny from Georgetown.
Yes, ma'am.
I was judging election for 5 years in another state. And my question is, my statement is, it may take a while in a primary to get this straight. And then, do they have a judge that would take the, a desk or something up to the Board of Elections?
Well, John, I'll have you answer that. Just kind of go through the basic process of voting and how this is all carried out for those that are from out of the area to see how Delaware does it.
No, hon, I'm from this area.
Okay.
I live in Georgetown. Youngstown, Delaware.
Well, I know you do now. I thought you said it had just been a couple years. But anyway, John, go ahead and you could answer.
Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about this, but give it time. You said that you have a couple more districts or areas to wait for?
Well, it appears Sussex County is all in. It looks like we're waiting on Newcastle County, generally speaking, with some of these races in terms of making it official, although some of these numbers seem to show in some of these races that despite some of the numbers upstate not being in yet, that we've got a pretty good idea at this point in some of the, especially the key races like governor.
Like I hear Carney's ahead. And yes, I am Republican, and I do want Julianne to win. But anyway,
Well, she's up. She's up commandingly. It was tight before, but she's up by 8 percentage points right now.
Cool. Okay. The other thing is, like I said, did they take it up to the Board of Elections? I know I had one of the biggest polling areas, and I did not get out of there until 10 o'clock.
Understood. And from what Walt Palmer, our program director
Thanks
and
for calling.
director of operations, has told us, Sussex votes are all in. I have now been able to go through the unofficial, uncertified results because they won't be certified until the Board of Canvass meets on Thursday. But my votes with 100% of the 3rd District reporting is Mark Schaefer has 3163 to I.G. Burden 3120, a difference of 43 votes. In the 2nd District, with 100% of the votes reporting, Cindy Green has 39% of the votes, which is 1,431. Robert Wilson has 31% of the votes, which is 1,150. And Lisa Briggs has 1,086 votes, which is 29.62. That is the 100% of the 13 election districts in the 2nd Sussex County District. And so that's outside the margin of error. So it appears that the winner of the primary and the successor to Sam Wilson will be Cindy Green, your current Register of Wills.
Well, 2 takeaways here, certainly from District 2, John and Jake. As we know, all the candidates had name recognition. Cynthia Green held office, but Robert Wilson, his father, as you mentioned, in that seat currently, retiring, though, after 12 years, that in this case here, that just because Sam was in that seat, and certainly name recognition helps, that your dad was in that seat and you want to continue on his legacy, that Cynthia Green had at least equal name recognition, and she ends up winning here. But I'm not sure that anybody really had a name advantage over anybody else, although, again, Sam Wilson was the one actually sitting in that seat, but the voters have made up their minds there.
And Robert Wilson had an agriculture background. If you consider the district that there's a lot of farms in that district, and he was not able to pull away with a victory given the fact that he could speak for farming issues on the county council.
Right. Now, let me ask you, John, real quick. Cindy, with her, I want to say leaflet or pamphlet she gives out, there was a picture of her and her family on a farm, though. And I know that she said her kids are landowners, but is her husband a farmer at all? Do they have any farming background as it pertains to that? I wasn't sure based on that picture.
I believe so.
Okay. So
I believe she is.
My disclosure is that I was the chief deputy for Cindy for a year. And she was very interested then and continues to be in farming. And that was one of the things that she did. And in a race like that, it's getting out your vote. Cindy Green has been the most popular row officer in the elections that she has run in so far since she went on to 10 years ago as the Register of Wills.
Is Cindy going to continue to wear green at the council meetings on Tuesday, John, do you think?
Look, when you're proud of your last name, you do everything you can.
No.
As you know, every time I ran, you heard that Brady Bunch song.
That's right. Yeah.
So Cindy Green, the winner there. Now, she's Register of Wills. That means that there will be an appointment by the governor of that position, which likely will be a Democrat.
That's
although
correct.
come re-election, I would think that a Republican would win that seat back. But now in District 3, there could be a recount then, John, as you take a look. But we talked about Mark Schaefer ran an extremely aggressive campaign with advertisements here quite a bit. He bought a number of schedules here with us. He also was on TV. He mailed out a ton of leaflets, obviously signs all over the place. A very aggressive campaign. Again, he beat up IG Burton, fair or unfair, on the hotel tax and some other factors as well, TIDs, and funding for EMTs. And that said, right now, I mean, it certainly has put him in a position where he's leading, albeit, though, by just 43 votes, but nonetheless.
All right, I've done some scanning around this report that I found, and it appears that there are about 3 election districts to 15 out in Kent County. The rest of the districts are out in Newcastle.
Right.
So it's going to be probably, I don't know, another half hour to 3 days before we get better votes totals in there. I don't know how long Walt's paying me for, but gosh, I hope he thinks I'm worth it.
I got to start getting ready for my out and about soon. So
now, I want to go. Let's grab a call. We need to take a timeout. What I'd like to do, too, is I'd like to talk to Mark Fauser on the other side of the break to take a look at some of the upstate races. And, John, you can weigh in as well because you're familiar with those where we talked about progressives taking on moderate to liberal incumbents, or in one case, at least, there was an open seat as well, and how that affects the makeup of the legislature. And first, of course, we have the general election in November. Could that help Republicans? So we'll do that. But let me grab a call here. First call, you're up at WGMD. Go ahead.
Hi, Mike. It's Thomas from Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
I think we all remember him. I think Jake had it right when he said Dewey beats Truman, because I think this is part of your setup. I can see this happening November 3rd.
Well, it's going to be worse.
We had a problem in the primary, but we thought we had it fixed. I don't know why it's taken so long to count the votes. John, you'll probably be out of there by probably November 2nd on this primary.
And then have to come back on the 3rd, yes.
Yeah, and then you'll have to get some sleep real quick.
Well, caller, to your point here, okay, this is the first time that they've installed this new computer setup and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've had their dry run, if you will, although unfortunately it's an actual primary. Now they've had their dry run. There should be very little excuses come November. Now, again, I'm not holding my breath, but let's just say they've had a run through tonight. They've had a run through, John and Jake. So they know what they need to do. And, yes, the numbers are going to be greater than what they had tonight. I don't think there's any question about that.
Well, my final thing would be never trust the communist.
Okay.
Good day.
All right. Thanks so much. Well, night now. All right, guys, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get your comments on that call, but also I want to check in with Mark Fauser and some of the upstate races as well. Delaware primary coverage continues. It's 10:25. Oh, boy, from 92.7 WGMD.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast weather. Tonight, partly cloudy. East winds at 5 to 10, low 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. South breeze 5 to 10, high 74. Partly cloudy, 68 tomorrow night. Thursday, mostly cloudy, a 30% chance of afternoon showers, 77. Still a chance of showers Thursday night. And Friday, mostly cloudy, chance of showers, high of 73. But Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, high of 68. Sunday, mostly sunny, breezy, 66.
Hi, neighbors. Have you considered your own fiberglass in-ground swimming pool, spa, or hot tub? Now is the time. Call Seaside Marine and Pool. Don't delay. Pools, spas, and hot tubs are selling out quicker than ever. Order before it's too late. By November, the 2021 season will be sold out everywhere. Order now to lock in 2020 pricing and get a free saltwater system worth $1,400. Seaside Marine Millsboro, serving entire eastern U.S. Free estimates, 855-TRUMP-11. Seaside Marine Pools, pontoon boats, and kayaks. Call 855-TRUMP-11.
Need tires? Visit In-N-Out Tire Pros, your Millsboro connection to 2 million brand-name tires at value pricing.
This is Bill Schreider, owner of In-N-Out Tire Pros. Do you or someone you know need a set of tires but just don't have the cash to buy them? I can help you with that. We have payment plans starting as low as $40, with or without credit. Give us a call or stop by In-N-Out Tire Pros, 302-934-1900.
That's In-N-Out Tire Pros, Betts Pond Road, Millsboro, 302-934-1900. Sussex Environmental Consultants are still here to serve and protect you, consulting Delmarva for decades, providing the most reliable and professional environmental health and indoor cleaning consulting. Sussex Environmental Consultants are qualified and prepared to help with support of your home or business during COVID-19, performing surrogate bacterial surface testing for the coronavirus or the environmental quality and cleanliness of any area. For a healthy home, call Sussex Environmental Consultants at 302-947-1810.
Orton's Garden Center has everything you need to create the outdoor sanctuary that you've been dreaming of. Stop by Wharton's Garden Center to view the daily arrivals of quality trees, shrubs, and perennials. You'll also find a selection of succulents, annuals, and hanging baskets. The smell of the soy candles, soaps, and local honey will guide you through the finest pottery and products in the gift shop. Add that special touch to your home or garden and stop by Wharton's Garden Center, Airport Road, Rehoboth, 302-278-7041.
Tune in this Thursday at 9:20 a.m. as I will be Delmarva Live with special guests Community Bank Delaware. Tune in to learn about their banking services. Community Bank Delaware, headquartered right here in Sussex County. It's where community matters.
Attention everyone, Nutrisystem is now offering the new Turbo Week plan, where I have lost 7.5 pounds in 2 weeks. It's easy and affordable. Call Nutrisystem, your authorized distributor in Lewis at 645-1784.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
I keep forgetting that. Thank you, Harry. At 10:28. Sorry about that. All right, so WGMD's John Brady reporting based on what he's seeing that 98% of the state is in, 100% for Sussex County, 85% for Kent County, Newcastle County 65%. Now, will that have an impact, though, on the races that we're seeing, especially Delaware GOP gubernatorial? Not so sure about that. You've got the U.S. Senate race, the U.S. House races in hand for Lee Murphy there. But let me head upstate to WGMD's Mark Fauser. Mark, I know that we highlighted a number of upstate races right now at the House and Senate. And if it's okay, maybe we could start with the House and District 4. Gerald Brady, the incumbent, a traditional Democrat, against progressive Amy Solomon. Jordan Alley on the Republican side awaiting the winner there. Take us through. I guess we'll start there with that race, obviously.
Well, Gerald Brady has 62% of the vote to Amy Solomon's 37%. The total votes, 2,668 for Gerald Brady and 1,612 for Amy Solomon. So it looks like Gerald Brady has a fairly comfortable lead there. One other incumbent is in a very tough struggle in District 7. That is Democrat Ray Siegfried in the House, trailing a challenger Larry Lambert with 59% to 40%. Of the votes tabulated there. So Siegfried facing a tough challenge. And in this District 8, that's where Quinn Johnson stepped out, decided not to seek re-election. So 3 Democratic candidates are running here. Mm-hmm. And the leader right now is Sheree Moore with 41% over Yvette Santiago, 31%, and Matthew Powell with 26%. Also in the 10th District, Sean Matthews, incumbent, sailing to a victory, and he does not have a Republican opponent. John Viola, neck and neck right now, and trailing one challenger, Medina Wilson Anton. Medina Wilson Anton leading John Viola 42.5% to 41.4% in State Rep District 26. John Viola, a longtime veteran of the State House.
Right, and Wilson Anton is a progressive there.
She is, and she hopes to be the first Muslim elected to the Delaware General Assembly as well, running
so that,
a very close and a very tight and effective campaign.
Yeah. Now, John Brady, that's the Newark area, if I'm not mistaken. Timothy Conrad is a Republican on the other side there. If Wilson Anton wins
at CDW,
sorry about that. What is the chance, in your opinion, that a Republican could win that seat? Now, again, it's very close, so we're not going to call it yet. But if Wilson Anton wins, what's the chance that Conrad could win that for the Republicans?
That was a Republican seat up to 2006.
What about now? What about
right
the makeup
now? There's been some change in the area, the demographics, the way it was redesigned in 2012. It was to favor by a number of by the Democrats, but it's still close. And you have traditional Democrats, okay? We call blue dog Democrats. They're sometimes over the age of 50, And what they're looking at, especially under the old Delaware way, is the person and their personal politics. And they may win in a primary, University of Delaware area, Newark, where the progressives could hold a group in the primary, but it could end up in the general election that could swap back for someone that preaches a more traditional values.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly a race we'll be watching. Going back to District 8, if Moore wins, she's a liberal. Daniel Satofsky is actually 16 to 18 years in Delaware. He's from New York, actually. NYPD was there at 9/11. That Middletown area, though, unfortunately, a lot of out-of-staters moving in, my understanding. And that, certainly he's got a chance. I've heard he's really run a strong campaign, even though he's being unopposed right now. But that'll be an area to watch, although I guess maybe you would have to give the Democrats at least a slight advantage there. But that's an open seat, though, John.
Correct. And that seat was Republican. Then it was held by Bethany Hall Long. And then it went over when Bethany ran for the Senate seat. It went to Quinn Johnson. But that area is a mixed group. It's very close between Republican and Democrat.
Okay.
And it's next to two other districts that 20 years ago were Democrat and are now Republican.
So that's two races there where Republicans have a shot.
That's correct.
Okay, again, assuming that in the one race, Viola goes down. Now, Mark, let me go back to you. District 27, Earl Jakes, Eric Morrison right now. Morrison with a very strong lead over Jakes.
61% with Morrison to 38% for Earl Jakes. And Earl Jakes chaired the House Education Committee, has been in the House for quite some time. So you look at that as another indicator that voters are clamoring for change in this state rep 27. And I don't know if John Brady would compare that to the other district we looked at earlier, where John Viola is facing a challenge as well.
And yes, and in this district right now, I am showing only 2 of the 10 election districts are outstanding. And with that amount of votes that are different there, being about 600 votes, that's going to be really tough for Representative Jakes to catch up with.
Now, Donald Keister III was a late comer, so credit Jay Brady on the GOP side for getting a Republican in there at the last second to fill some more spots. Because in this case, it looks like the progressive will win. I guess the question is, John, in 27, what are the chances of a Republican against a progressive?
And it's going to come down to, and an issue that's going to come out, is that if Eric Morrison wins the general election, he'll be the first openly gay male in the Delaware State House. And so if the Republicans use a more conservative within the district's values, that seat could flip back to where it used to be, which was a Republican seat until 2008.
John, Mike, if I can,
sure.
And I don't have permission to give this out yet, but someone in the race has conceded at this point. I don't have. All right, let me just read this. If you just bear with me for a second, unless you want to just go for a break, Mike, and we can come back. But let me see.
Well, we could do that. Let me do this. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Jake, we'll get to what you have. Then we will come back with Mark Fauser and John to continue to go through the rest of the upstate races. And again, if you're listening in Sussex County, which many of you are, obviously, or it's our main base, and you're saying, Mike, why are you talking upstate races? Because there's a chance here that Republicans could gain some ground in the state house. They are trailing by a large margin there. Obviously, in the state Senate as well, they need to hold on to a seat. Maybe they can gain a seat as well. So it's very important. And if a progressive should win out in the general, that changes the face of the Delaware state legislature and the party from maybe more of a blue conservative state to a liberal blue state. So those are just as important, or at least close to being as important as your backyard races. 10:36, more to come. Keep it here.
Maryland Farm Bureau is the voice for the farm family across the state. Now members can get exclusive benefits and savings from Nationwide Insurance with a number of policies to protect your farm, buildings, equipment, livestock, and more. Get protection tailored to your farm's needs from Nationwide and save with the Farm Bureau. Maryland Farm Bureau and Nationwide offer your farm broad coverage that can be customized to your farm's unique needs. Visit nationwide.com/MFB to learn how you can save on your farm insurance with Nationwide and the Maryland Farm Bureau.
Nationwide is on your side. COVID-19 has thrown a wrench in our plans this year. While vacations may seem impossible, have you considered a staycation in Havre de Grace, Maryland? Havre de Grace is open with open-air dining at our restaurants, shops, museums, and our waterfront boardwalk promenade for you to safely enjoy. Come explore what one of America's best small towns has to offer. Just 45 minutes from Baltimore, an hour from Philly, and right in your backyard. Grab your masks and discover the historic charm of Havre de Grace. Socially distant, but close to home.
Attention, Worcester County farmers and small business owners, including sole proprietors with no employees. Applications are being accepted from now until September 18th at 11:59 p.m. for a second round of funding from the Workforce Back to Business COVID-19 Assistance Grant Program. Grant funds will be awarded in increments of $2,500. Businesses that missed out on the first round of funding can apply for the second round now at chooseworcester.org. Officials awarded over $1 million in the first round. Go to chooseworcester.org.
We keep you warm when it's cold outside. We keep your water hot.
Don't let high heating costs give you the chills this winter. Instead, call us at Baker Petroleum so you can feel the warmth of savings by enrolling in our pre-buy and price cap program. Call us at Baker Petroleum today at 302-684-8569.
You're good to go. You can depend on Baker Petroleum. You're good to go.
Shopping without a budget is dangerous. Before you start shopping for a home, call me, Jim Fritz of All American Mortgage, to talk about your home buying budget. Together, we'll consider your moving costs, insurance costs, and ideal lifestyle. Any 800 number can give you a pre-approval. All American Mortgage wants you to live the American dream with a manageable mortgage. It's more than just numbers. Call me, Jim Fritz of All American Mortgage, for a real consultation today. 302-934-8787.
Are you in search of the perfect custom flag and flagpole installation? Hi, this is John Dorman, GM of Stokely Materials and now First State Flag. First State Flag has been serving all of Delmarva, specializing in residential and commercial flagpoles for over 25 years. We offer a wide array of flagpole installation services as well as a full line of flags that are all made in the USA. View previous stunning projects at firststateflag.com. Also receive a free quote when you visit us at our new location at 32416 Lewis Georgetown Highway, just west of Route 1. Remember, big or small, we install them all. First State Flag.
Service Center Bullying, or SCB, is the leading cause of anxiety for vehicle owners. But there is hope. Lewis Meineke will service your vehicle in a caring, friendly environment where the only pressure you'll get is in your tires. Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Listen to God's inspiration as it's spoken through Pastor Lon Solomon of the McLean Bible Church every Sunday at 8 a.m. on the Taco Del Marva 92.7 WGMD.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
All right, at 10:40 the time, and we've got some breaking news. Let's go to WGMD Studio B. WGMD's John Brady. John, you're ready to call a race. Go ahead, sir.
With 416 out of 431 districts reporting.
Take a deep breath, John. Take a deep breath.
I am projecting that there is no statistical way that Colin Benini can catch up to Julianne Murray. Julianne Murray, my former co-host, will be the Republican nominee for governor in the state of Delaware for 2020.
There you have it.
Oh, God. Unbelievable. You go, Julianne.
All right, so we're reaching out, Jake, to Julianne.
Mike,
I
can give you that information right now. Julianne will be calling into the show at 10:55. That's Eastern time, not Central time, but the Department of Elections has been on all night.
Well, I sent her a Zoom, but that's fine.
And guys, I'm sorry my voice cracked.
That's all right, John.
It's okay, John. We understand.
I worked for her. I co-hosted a show with her, and it's just a really amazing night for her, and I think she knows I don't usually get emotional.
Well,
so forgive me.
Can we just and Mike, this is an incredible victory by a political outsider, Georgetown attorney, someone who came on WGMD to do a show with John about the law. She obviously touched a lot of voters, and she was able to, I think, talk to those voters on terms that perhaps they've never heard. The good old Delaware way. people had kind of given up on politics here in the first state. Julianne talked a different language. And I think that she brought in a lot of voters that perhaps had given up on Delaware politics. It wasn't easy. Her own party, the Republican Party, didn't want her. Her own party treated her as an outsider. And on top of that, they did not want her to win. They wanted others to win, and she beat them all.
Well, let me take a step back, though, as well. She did get the nomination. She did get the nomination, and the voters spoke loudly. And that ultimately is what matters. So, Jake, I would say that the party took her.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. There were elements within the party that certainly didn't want her to succeed. We know that. We know that for a fact. No question. But ultimately, she did get the nomination, and the voters came out in full force, and they voted for Julianne Murray. So I say kudos to the party.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Mike, voter turnout now up to 31.07%.
That's good news.
That's
great
amazing.
news.
Mr. Brady has another call to make. John?
Yeah. John, go ahead, sir.
In the race for U.S. Senate in Delaware, Christopher Coons is statistically ahead with those 16 districts out. He will be the Democratic nominee. Running against Lauren Witzke will be the Republican nominee. And I've reached out to Lauren to call us in as soon as practicable.
Yes, absolutely. And what about the U.S. House race?
In the U.S. House race, I'm ready to call that Lee Murphy has got a substantial lead and is insurmountable for Matthew Hathaway Morris. So Lee Murphy will be the Republican candidate against Lisa Blunt Rochester.
Yeah. Look, going back to the gubernatorial, then we'll grab, boy, does Kathy ever sleep either? She's on line one. We'll grab her in just a second. Going back, though, to the gubernatorial race, I would say that this year is the perfect time, the perfect storm. We had heard certainly statistics that Delaware was faltering prior to COVID, but this just highlighted it and really made things worse. A lot of questionable decisions. And I think and I've said this before, I think what helps Julianne, we know she's passionate. We know she's well-spoken and energetic. She also has the legal background to go head-to-head with Governor Carney, on this state of emergency. And I think that is an enormous advantage for her. But if there's going to be a time, it's the perfect year. It's the perfect storm. I referenced what happened in my state of Maryland some 6-7 years ago, where it was a perfect storm and the state elected a Republican governor and then did it again on financial conservatism. And here in the first state, folks are obviously angry with the SOE and COVID-19 and what they're seeing. And we'll see if that spills over to the general election. So
Mike, tonight, John Carney is a very nervous candidate. He's the incumbent, but I guarantee you, John Carney is worried about his race against Julianne Murray. He has never faced a race like this. John Brady, do you agree?
It's going to be a very interesting race. He's never run against a female, and this is a race where his 4-year record as governor will be blasted by the Republican nominee.
And let's not forget, it got off to a bad start with Vaughn in February of 2017, too.
Yes,
and
we've had crisis management, and the difference I see between the candidates is Julianne Murray will probably promote of let's plan properly as opposed to reaction that Governor Carney has to do because all the situations that came up.
Yeah.
I'm also ready to call the race for insurance commissioner. It is statistically not in the cards for Kanye Abigadi to defeat Trinity Navarro tonight, and Navarro will be the Democratic candidate, 64%, 35%, and so all the statewide races are now called. I'm going to yield to Mark Fauser because I think he's got some really close totals now in Newcastle County for those state rep and state senate seats that are up that were very close.
All right, go ahead, Mark.
We left off with the House. So looking at the Senate, and we'll recap the House as well, but we want to talk about David McBride, the state Senate President Pro Tem in office for decades in State Senate District 13. He is in the fight for his political career right now. Marie Pinkney, social worker, more of a progressive
Oh,
candidate.
she's definitely progressive, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, leading David McBride, 51.3% to 48.6%, close to 51 to 48, with just a few more districts to remain. So Dave McBride could be going down to defeat. He is the president pro tem, kind of runs the Senate sessions. So if Pinckney is able to do that, that would be yes, another step forward for the progressive segment of the Democratic Party in Delaware.
And Mark, I'm looking at it. I went to a different page.
Mhm.
There are 2 districts out,
Yes.
and that has 10% of the vote. The difference is, at the moment, 145 votes. That is still statistically, for an analysis, too close to call, but it is definitely leaning as an upset.
All right, guys, I hate to break this up, but we do have Julianne Murray on the newsmaker line, so I want to get to her. But, guys, we will come back to the upstate races here, so stand by. But Julianne joining us on the newsmaker line. Julianne, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I promised you I would call you, so here I am.
Yes, indeed you are. And I know that today, a long day at Julianne, too, with the numbers initially coming in, not really knowing what the heck was going on, and then hearing the numbers are being pulled, or it wasn't the complete picture when we thought it might be. But now it is official as you look forward to November now.
It is, and Pat told me that John actually got choked up when he called it. I was on the phone and missed it, so
Well, we can play it back for you at some point.
We'll play it back tomorrow.
I would love it, and this has been when and John, thank you for telling me to take the deep breath earlier when I was being told that I lost by 21 votes. It's good to.
Well, that wasn't official. That was just at that time.
Yeah, but they were saying it. I mean, I got 20 phone calls from people, saying that I was going to. And I'm sorry, my phone's buzzing, but as you can imagine, people are calling. Just all of it has just been so amazing. I do want to say, Colin did call me and congratulate me and pledge his support, and I'm very thankful for that. And just how overwhelmed I am by the voters and the volunteers. I mean, this is just it's massive. But what's so fantastic about it is how excited everybody is. I mean, obviously I'm excited, but everybody's excited about it. And that's powerful in an election.
Julianne, and I'll turn things over to John and Jake here. Julianne, 41.37% of the vote. It is a 6-way race. You have to feel really good about that number, especially against, as you mentioned, Colin Benini, the runner-up, someone who's been in office for years, who's run for governor before, has that name recognition up and down the state. You've got to feel good, really good about that number at 41%, a strong plurality there for you.
I do feel good about it. I'm blown away. And, it certainly, the vibes today that I was getting was, that it was going in the right direction for sure. And that was why when the preliminary stuff came out, I'm looking at it going, well, gee, that's not at all what I thought. But it is, it's fantastic. And I think that this is, I know that when I spoke with Jake yesterday, I think it was, that a lot of independents had called in and said that they were going to vote for me. I mean, I think that my message about improving the economy and ending this lockdown and let's have some law and order and support law enforcement is going to play well and resonate with Republicans, independents, and Democrats. I really do. Did I lose you guys?
No, we're still here, Julianne. Let me ask a question if Mike is finished.
I am.
Yeah. Julianne, I was listening to you and John one Saturday afternoon. Nancy and I always have our lunch, and we would listen to you and John. And the lawsuit issue came up where you were thinking of filing the lawsuit against John Carney for what he had done to Patrick, your rental property in Bethany. And you said, and I'm going to throw this, I think this is an exact quote, I am conflicted about what you're going to do. Well, at that point, it seemed to me that this was a David against Goliath meeting between you and Carney. And at some point in time, you were not going to take it. And you took on John Carney. You took on the carnage, as I've been calling it. And yet, you are a hero to a lot of people in Sussex County because you didn't take it lying down. You said, I'm going to fight back. You did. And now John Carney is pretty nervous because he knows he's going to have a tough fight ahead of him in 49 days, Julianne. Your response?
I think he does know that he has his hands full. As I have said to lots of people, I'm tough to ignore, and people laugh when I say that, but it's true. And
Yes.
so I'm sorry my phone keeps beeping. I can't put it on airline.
That's okay.
We're not hearing
this
it.
is a
Seriously.
lifetime moment, Julianne. Enjoy every moment.
Hey, it all
Go ahead.
started here, so.
That's right.
Yeah, and it did. And that's what is so so fantastic about it is the lawsuit, the law show that went to the lawsuit that turned into the candidacy that is now going to the general election. It's fantastic. And what is so gratifying about it is when I started it, I wasn't sure if my message was going to resonate. It felt like it would, but it really has, and it's done it up and down the state. So, the whole David and Goliath thing has kind of, my law career, the sheriff's case, the stuff that I've done, has always kind of been this way. I'm in my element in that kind of contest. Mm-hmm. And so if, somebody asked me earlier, are you nervous? No, let's go.
Well, Julianne, I can promise you the champagne is on ice for Friday, and Nancy's looking across at me. She's got her thumbs up. She's telling me to tell you congratulations.
Thanks.
Right.
Thanks so much. It means a lot coming from all of you.
We love you. We love you, Julianne.
John, any closing words? All right,
I'm turning my mic back on.
Okay.
Congratulations, Miss Murray. Good luck in the next 59 days.
Isn't it only 49? Is it 59?
Yeah, it's 49.
But,
It's 49,
if you're successful, the next 59 days will help lay out how you proceed over the next 4 years.
Oh, okay. There you go.
There you go. Julianne,
thank you.
Thanks so much for your time. We'll certainly be talking to you very, very soon. I know you have a number of other commitments, so we'll let you go. But thank you for tuning in here first.
All right. Thanks so much, guys, and thanks for all the coverage tonight. It was really great.
You got it.
Congratulations,
Appreciate
Julianne.
it.
All right, thanks. All right, take care. See you guys. Bye-bye.
That's Julianne Murray. She has won the GOP gubernatorial race to take on John Carney, who won in his primary pretty convincingly. But Julianne, 41% of the vote in a six-way race. Very strong numbers there, again, against a seasoned senator in Colin Benini, and one that has a lot of name recognition. Guys, we need to take a time out, but I know we've got calls that have come in, so let me grab them quickly. Kathy, you've been waiting a while. Go ahead, Kathy. Thank you for being patient.
The one thing I want to say, I think that is something good Julianne should use. Tough to ignore what she just said. Julianne, congratulations. Thank you, Patrick, for giving your wife to us. And thank you, John, because on your program that Saturday, when I said Julianne should run, you said, but she is my radio wife. And I said to you, John,
the divorce has been tough.
John, I said to you, we need her more. Thank you for giving her, Patrick. Thank you, John, for giving your radio wife to us. We love her, and she is tough to ignore. And one thing I want to say, congratulations, Lee Murphy. I did a bad thing 4 years ago. Thank you for you winning now.
How about Lauren Witzke? Yeah. Let's hear it for Lauren Witzke.
Yes.
I am just so happy about everything. And guess what? You boys better get to bed now.
Well, we've got a little bit more work to do, but thank you. Let me grab one more call. We'll take a time out, and then we'll continue on. Some upstate upsets taking place or have taken place that we need to get to as well. We'll reconvene with Mark Fauser coming up. A caller, you're up at WGMD. Go ahead.
What's going on, guys? Hey, look, man, I call you all the time. It's Jordan Lewis. Listen,
Hi,
man.
Jordan.
Man, we got it with Murray, right? We got it with Whiskey. Oh, my God. I'm so happy. Those two ladies are going to come down through this state, and they're going to tear it apart. I hope I hope they do exactly what they say they're going to do, because they are the two best candidates we could have possibly gotten to be where they're going to.
But think about that, Jordan. These are two outside women from the outside with no experience in politics. Think about that.
I literally just the other day saw Whiskey at the Chick-fil-A at the Trump trade, and all I could do was fist bump her. And all I could do was fist bump her and say, go do it. And I walked up there to go vote today at Cape. And as I walked up, I had, everybody was standing there. You had everybody there. And I had to walk through a couple of people to walk up to a nice gentleman standing there with a whiskey shirt on.
Yeah.
And I said nothing to nobody, and I fist pumped him. And he looked at me and he started laughing. I walked in. I made my vote, and guess what? Every single person I voted for Sussex County and for Delaware straight up got the vote.
Congratulations, Jordan.
It was the way they did it too. It was actually, everybody maybe had some problems when you came in. They said you voted red, this and the other. At Cape, nobody asked you a word. You walked in, you gave them your ID, you walked up, and the voting this year was so easy. The touch screen, they came up, the ballot came back out. You saw who you voted for. You knew daggone well that you voted was on paper, and it went through. It was clean. It was nice. And I'll tell you what, everybody who was supposed to win, they won.
Mike and I are going to check in and get the lottery numbers from you, Jordan, for Lotto. Okay?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jordan. We appreciate it. And a lot of happy folks for their candidates today on the GOP side. 10:58 is the time. We need to take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue the coverage. Hopefully, we'll talk to a few more candidates as well. We talked to Julianne Murray. Want to catch up with Lauren Witzke and maybe a few others here before the night is out. And again, a number of upstate upsets. We'll get to Mark Fauser as well. Keep it here.
Termites outweigh humans on Earth and cause more than $5 billion in home and structure damage every year. With 25 years of servicing the shore, Accurate Pest Control features the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System with always active technology that not only treats but prevents termites. With a full staff of state-certified technicians, you can rely on Accurate Pest Control and Centricon Always Active for a non-toxic cure to your termite concerns. Call Accurate Pest Control today at 302-875-2725.
No job too small, no tree too tall. Make the call to Lawson's Tree Service, licensed and insured. Call Lawson's Tree Service for preventative tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding. 302-436-1586. Always open, always reliable. Call Lawson's Tree Service for emergency cleanup and storm damage removal. 302-436-1586. Call Lawson's Tree Service for a free estimate today. 302-436-1586.
Are you looking for a dependable supplier for your petroleum needs? Hi, Gary Rhodes here from Southern States Milford. We sell gasoline, propane, fuel oil, kerosene, diesel fuel, and diesel exhaust fluid. We have a fleet of trucks with professional drivers ready to deliver petroleum to your home, farm, or business. From premium diesel fuel for the farm to propane in your home, Southern States Milford has you covered. Call 302-422-8066 for your petroleum needs today.
My name is David, and I lost 46 pounds on Nutrisystem last year. And I kept it off for 1 year with their maintenance plan, eating Nutrisystem foods like pizza, muffins, and ice cream sandwiches. So stop by your local Nutrisystem distributor in Lewis, Delaware. Start losing weight today.
Lewis Meineke has award-winning customer advisors and certified mechanics. We have fair pricing with service warranties, free loaner cars, and a shuttle service. Call 302-827-2054 for an appointment today and experience the Meineke way.
Tune in this Wednesday at 4:40 p.m. as Duke Brooks' featured guest will be Bruce Herman of Herman Financial Services. Learn all about the independent, objective, and investment solutions that Herman Financial has to offer. This Wednesday at 4:40 p.m.
Listen to God's inspiration as it's spoken through Pastor Lon Solomon of the McLean Bible Church every Sunday at 8 a.m. on the Taco Del Marva 92.7 WGMD.
Listen to the Rehoboth Foodie on 92.7 WGMD, Saturday afternoons, 2 until 4. Brought to you locally by Theo's, Steaks, Sides and Spirits, Rehoboth, Pat's Pizza, Lewis, Mason's Famous Lobster Rolls, Rehoboth.
Hi, it's Mike Bradley, and we're here with another Delmarva's Business. We've got Butch Holtzclaw, the director of golf from the Rookery, joining us. And Butch, there are a lot of golf courses across the Delmarva Peninsula, and it's a big golfing area. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
At the Rookery, we have two public golf courses, one in Milton, Delaware, and one in Milford. We've been operating the Rookery South in Milton for about 17 years now, and we acquired the North course 5 years ago in Milford. Again, both are open to the public, but we do offer memberships for the season.
And Butch, tell us about the pro shops that you have and any instruction on hand?
Well, at both golf courses, we have fully stocked golf shops with all the latest gear. We do custom fitting. You can schedule an appointment with any of our golf professionals for the custom fitting or for golf instruction. We do groups and individual instruction.
And Butch, what's the website and where are you guys located once again?
Our website is www.rookerygolf.com. You can see the South Course at the corner of Route 16 on 1. On the Milford Course, you would have to exit off. It's on South Rehoboth Boulevard, or also known as Business Route 1.
And that's the Rookery, another WGMD Delmarva's business.
Your national, state, and local election station is 92.7 WGMD, Rehoboth Beach, Delmar, Berlin, the talk of Delmarva. This is Decision 2020, Delaware primary coverage from 92.7 WGMD, as we cover federal, state, and local races from up and down the first state, with analysis from John Brady and Jake Smith, election results from Mark Fowler and Mary Lou from the WGMD newsroom. We will also hear from the candidates themselves. Anchoring tonight's coverage is Mike Bradley, all from Delmarva's election station, 92.7 WGMD.
All right, 11:03 across Delmarva. The polls closed a little over 3 hours ago, and we pretty much have all the results in at this point. It took a while longer than we had hoped for, but they're here. I want to go out right now, though, to our newsmaker line. I believe we've got Lauren Witzke joining us. Lauren, is that you? Hello? Hello?
Mike?
Okay, I guess that is not Lauren. Who is this?
It's Patrick. How are you, brother?
Patrick, doing well, sir, and congratulations. I know the Murray household very excited tonight.
Is this not the greatest thing since crunchy peanut butter? I'll tell you what. Thanks. I just wanted to call and thank everybody on our team, all the guys that put the signs out, Bill and Tom and Barry, Archie, who's on our campaign staff, Tom, Eleanor. It's a team effort. She's the best thing that ever came into my life, and we're a team, and we're gonna go all the way. We have to. We have got to save this state, and thank you for all the voters coming out. We need to keep it going, folks. You got to come out. That turnout was fabulous, and I tell you, I was out collecting signs from the polls when the false information came in, and my heart just sunk because she called me and said, I lost. And I was like, oh, no, great. So I rushed home. And then when you guys started saying, wait a minute, things are going bad here. But, you know, it's typical, isn't it? I mean, it's with the Murrays. You know, the 0.2% that can go wrong, it will.
Patrick,
But,
if luck be a lady,
go ahead.
If luck be a lady tonight, what you have to do 49 days from today is make sure that you shampoo every one of your dogs, just like you did today. So you got to give all the dogs a bath on November 3rd, okay?
And I'll get pictures because I heard that the news guy wanted to see that. So.
Yes, that's right. Mark Fowler has for pictures.
I was pissed today when I saw them out in the mud of the river here. But, yeah, Julie said, I got to take my mind off of this, and I'm going to wash the dogs. So I was like, okay, you know, that's the way she does it. It's a physical thing. So.
There you go.
But thanks to everybody. Thanks to you guys. Stellar coverage job. Way to take care of everything. All the other winners tonight. Yeah,
Patrick, God bless.
Greatest thing.
God bless you both. We're proud of you both. You did a lot of work, too, and look forward to seeing you for the big celebration on Friday.
And it's not over yet, guys. More work to be done for sure,
Yes.
but this is the first step. Absolutely, Patrick. Yeah. Well,
Exactly. The tough stuff starts now. So everybody hang in there. We're gonna take care of this.
all right. Very good. Hey, Patrick, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Appreciate the call, 11:05. Let me grab line 2. Caller, you're up at WGMD.
Hey, the Sean Hannity Show starts
Hello.
right here, right now.
Oh, sorry about that. You're getting tones all over the place. Who's this?
This is Lauren with
Lauren, thanks so
Oh,
much.
my
And I did not know you were on line 2. Otherwise, it would not have made you wait. I would have gone to you, so I apologize about that. But, Lauren, congratulations to you tonight again. I'm sure you were at the edge of your seat, the initial numbers coming in, and not exactly sure what's going on. We thought that some of those numbers were genuine, they were accurate, and things were all over the place, but we finally do get the official numbers. And obviously the ground game, the work that you put in there paid off substantially, especially with those who showed up in person at the polls today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes as no surprise to me that the fake news would release the wrong results. But, you know, it's okay. We knew that it wasn't over, and we knew we ran a great ground game, and we're excited to have a victory.
Again, your message at this point now to Delaware voters, because in a state that is blue, you're going against Chris Coons, who won overwhelmingly over a progressive. Your message, especially to those independents, moderates, those who have been shunned away by the Democrat Party, is what? Why are you the candidate to lead Delaware in the U.S. Senate going forward?
Right, absolutely. Well, that's because Chris Coons has been in office for 10 years, and we are getting worse. You know, we have small businesses that have shut down that would never reopen. We have lost jobs. We have lost manufacturing jobs. American workers' wages are down, and Delaware is number 2 in the nation in opioid overdoses. So we have some serious issues here that need to be addressed, and it's something that he has failed to address and something that he has failed to even acknowledge as a problem. And that is a message that resonates with Delaware voters. You know, we know that something is very wrong. And I am somebody who's willing to speak to those issues and fight for those issues and draw attention to those issues and present real solutions. So, you know, my message will remain the same. I will keep moving forward with my America First message, and I've been going after Coons since January. You know, so this is just the same thing, and I'm just keeping going. So we're excited and we're ready for round 2.
Lauren, this is Jake Smith. Congratulations on your very hard-fought victory. You're going to have to secure significant level of independent votes going into the November election. Your message going to vary at all for independent voters, do you think? And are you confident that you can secure the number of independents that you need to carry yourself to victory in November? What do you think?
Right, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm already pulling over the Democrat privatized union workers. Many people know I've already been endorsed by a union here, and I'm going for more now because American workers, independent, Democrat, Republican, don't want to be displaced by cheap foreign labor. They don't want to have to compete against cheap foreign labor. So workers' rights, putting American workers first for jobs, and restoring the American nuclear family is a message that resonates with everybody.
Lauren, go ahead. Lauren, I was just going to say the people in my area, they very impressed by you. Congratulations on your victory, and I look forward to speaking with you on Delmarva Live as we get closer to the election.
Yeah, and Lauren, I'll just leave you with this here. Senator Coons came out with a statement tonight after his victory. The general election is in 7 weeks, and the stakes have never been higher. As my friend Joe Biden rightly says, we're in a battle for the soul of our nation. We've seen what 4 years of Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell's leadership has done to our country, and we cannot afford another 4 years of their failed policies and their division. What say you, Lauren Witzke?
I say that Delaware is done with Joe Biden. If he's going to ride the Joe Biden train, it's going to take him nowhere. Delaware goes red this year, and that's a fact.
Well, Lauren, at that, we'll leave you. Congratulations. We'll certainly be in touch, and we'll certainly have you back across, of course, all our programs here at WGMD. Congrats tonight, and best wishes going forward here.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You got it. All right. 11:10 is the time. John and Jake, I want to switch gears here because we've had to put it off quite a bit, but we've got a number of upstate upsets, and I want to head to the Newcastle County newsroom. WGMD's Mark Fauser. Mark, pick up from where we left off here as we've got official results now, and certainly some surprises.
Yes, let's go to State House first of all. State House, a number of contested primaries were settled this evening, and one being in District 4, where Gerald Brady, the incumbent, has defeated a Democratic challenge from Amy Solomon. However, Ray Siegfried goes down to defeat in District 7. Ray Siegfried, a Democrat in the Claymont area, losing to Larry Lambert, 59% to 41%. And in District 8, with 3 Democrats running, for the position vacated by Quinn Johnson in the Middletown area. The winner is Ray Moore with 41.7%, defeating, respectively, Yvette Santiago and Matthew Powell. District 10, Sean Matthews wins over Keith James. Sean Matthews, a Democrat, and he does not face a Republican opponent. John Viola in District 26, neck and neck with Medina Wilson Anton. Medina Wilson Anton leading John Viola 42.7% to 41.23%. So if that holds up, Medina Wilson Anton would unseat John Viola as the Democratic candidate in District 26. And in the 27th District, Earl Jakes really going down to a heavy defeat to Eric Morrison by nearly a 2/3 margin. Eric Morrison defeating Earl Jakes, the incumbent in District 27, State House District 27. Now, in the state Senate, do we want to move on to the state Senate?
Sure, absolutely.
Dave McBride in District 13. Dave McBride, the Senate President Pro Tem, in office for decades in the Newcastle area. And I can tell you, spending some time in the Newcastle area, he has been campaigning quite hard with lots and lots of signs around, and even a temporary campaign office he had located in a storefront. So he was fighting hard for reelection. He knew he was in a hard fight, and he was. And Marie Pinckney has apparently defeated David McBride with 51.4% to 48.58% in State Senate District 13. Also, quite highly watched is State Senate District 5, where 3 Democrats were vying to compete against Kathy Cloutier, the Republican minority whip in the state Senate, and the winner there, Kyle Evans-Gay, over 2 other candidates who included a former Wilmington police officer, Denise Bowers, but Kyle Evans-Gay winning in State Senate District 5. And it appears Bruce Ennis is holding on in District 14. He was seen as vulnerable by some, but he has defeated 2 Democratic candidates in that Smyrna area district, Smyrna Middletown District number 14 tonight, Mike.
And Craig Pugh winning decidedly over Terrence Baker in the Republican primary there.
Correct. Craig Pugh with 64.3% to about 35% for Terrence Lee Baker. So that sets up Pugh versus Ennis.
All right, now, John, you had some comments on these upstate races?
Right. There are only 2 election districts out. Both are in the 13th district. So the state Senate 13th district. So that's the only district that doesn't have final votes. And we've been waiting for those 2 districts for a while because 10% of that district is in the 2 districts. Tonight is a really tough night for John Viola because all the votes are in and he's out.
Yeah, wow.
Tonight is a tough night for Earl Jakes because all the votes are in and he's out. And in the city of Wilmington, Sam Guy, who has been a county council member at large for a while, is out. And Mark, isn't the city council president out?
Hanifa Shabazz falling to Trippy Congo. Trippy Congo with a local funeral home business, defeating Hanifa Shabazz in the race for president of Wilmington City Council. Hanifa Shabazz has worked side by side with Mayor Mike Perzicki on many issues affecting the city of Wilmington. And while Perzicki has won apparently a 3-way Democratic primary for mayor, it looks like Hanifa Shabazz, her time with City Council, most recently as president of City Council, coming to an end, John.
Yes, and all of the votes are in for the city of Wilmington. So all those numbers are now final. And the city treasurer, Velda Jones Potter, who took on the mayor in a 3-way race, has lost by 7%. Mike Perzicki is now going to get reelected, and he got 42% of the vote today in the primary.
So as we take a look, John, at these upstate races, the Viola District 26 in the House, Timothy Conrad, the Republican there, going against a progressive. That looks to be a seat the Republicans have a chance at winning. Also, Donald Keister against a progressive Eric Morrison in 27 with a chance at winning. Those are 2 House seats there that you take a look at. Jordan Nally, probably an uphill battle against Gerald Brady in 4. And then in District 8, it seems like at least a decent shot for the Republicans. That's an open seat. Sharia Moore against Daniel Satofsky there. Your thoughts for the Republicans upstate and gaining some ground?
The Republicans upstate have the opportunity to gain ground because they will picture the Democratic winners of these primaries as too liberal for our district. And they will cite certain policies and endorsements. And they are going to be the focus on election night because Jane Brady and the state Republicans now have a roadmap to getting a chamber of the House and the Senate back.
Well, John, can I ask you, if Senator McBride does lose, and it looks like he's going to at this point, correct? What is that going to do to Senate leadership? And Mike, it'll be interesting to see what Senator Brian Pettyjohn has to say about that in the morning.
Sure.
And what's going to happen is the next ranking state senator is the majority leader, who is Nicole Poore, and she is from Newcastle area. Now, you understand, Dave
Unopposed.
McBride has been in office, Mark, I think, since 1978.
A long time. Did he not join the House first before
He
the
was
Senate?
in the House, and there was a primary, and the person who primaried him, 2 House members primaried for the Senate district, and if I recall, understanding I was all of 19 in 78, I believe lobbyist Bob Byrd, who had been in the House for 4 years, went against Dave McBride, and that was his last primary challenge.
Yes, Dave McBride has not faced a primary challenger in quite some time, and so this being the first one he has faced, he made. There are supposedly 3 districts outstanding right now, and 2 of them are in this highly contested Senate 13. So, John, can anything swing with two districts like this?
Only because the figures I have show 10%. And when I look at the total votes, we know we have all the absentee ballots in. And if you look, the absentee ballots were only 6 votes apart. So we have a difference now of approximately 160 votes, Mark, 161. And with that, if you look at 10% of 30, you're looking at just about 5,000 votes. It'd be really tough for him to make that up in those 2 outstanding districts. Not completely impossible, but statistically really hard to make up. But because it's in that little gray area, I'm not comfortable calling it yet.
Well, so let's recap this just quickly because we need to take a timeout. Assuming Cloutier and Del Calo hold on to their seats, which I think it's safe to say at least better than 50% that they will, if not a bigger number than that. Not to say that Cloutier won't have a tougher race. I think that Del Calo will. But let's assume they hold on 12-9, Democrats to Republicans in the Senate. But then assuming McBride loses to Pinckney, Alexander Homage there in 13. There is a Republican challenger there, a potential to beat Pinckney because she's a progressive. And then Craig Pugh with a chance, even though Bruce Ennis is the incumbent and held on. Pugh, though, I think a solid candidate. Republicans have a chance there. So there's a chance they could gain 1 or 2 seats in the Senate. I think to be conservative, we'll just say 1 of 2, which would get them back to 11-10. And certainly with Joe Biden on the ballot, that would be a huge win for Jane Brady, not only to hold serve, but to gain a seat if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, the only thing is that Kyle Gay is a well-known trial attorney, and she going against Kathy Cloutier, that is going to be a very contested race, and it's going to be a very expensive race.
Yeah.
Mark Pugh versus Bruce Ennis will also be, because you look at those as it. In the 13th, the Republican will now be candidate, if McBride is upset, the Republican will be campaigning on, I am closer to the values of the district, and that one will get a lot of involvement. So you got 3 hot Senate races, you got 3 to 4 hot House races, and so it is going to be very interesting in 49 days to see how they plot out and how they campaign to try and get their name and their face in front of the voters in their district and to get that turnout.
Yeah. Well, Cloutier, I'm told, has done a great job of constituent service during COVID in the community. I think she really has that going for her. But as I said, yeah, Cloutier will definitely have the tougher race than I believe Del Calo will. We'll take a time out as we start to wrap things up. Delaware primary coverage from 92.7 WGMD.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast weather. Tonight, partly cloudy. East winds at 5 to 10, low 62. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. South breeze 5 to 10, high 74. Partly cloudy, 68 tomorrow night. Thursday, mostly cloudy. A 30% chance of afternoon showers, 77. Still a chance of showers Thursday night. And Friday, mostly cloudy, chance of showers, high of 73. But Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, high of 68. Sunday, mostly sunny, breezy, 66.
Whether you're an avid golfer, play casually, or new to the game, the Rookery is the perfect place to tee off. With 2 locations, the Rookery North on Business Route 1 in Milford and the Rookery South on the corner of Route 1 and 16, a round of golf is a short drive away. The Rookery is one of Delmarva's premier public golf courses. Visit rookerygolf.com for tee times, memberships, and info on senior days and group or individual instruction. That's rookerygolf.com.
If you suspect mold in your home, this should be taken very seriously and examined only by board-certified indoor environmental professionals. Sussex Environmental Consultants has been serving the Delmarva area and surrounding states for decades, providing quality expertise, knowledge, and top credentials for an exact, proper remediation plan. Call Sussex Environmental Consultants today at 302-947-1810 or see for yourself at sussexenvironmental.com.
Hey Delmarva, this is Peniel Barrett, General Sales Manager here at First State Chevy in Georgetown. The temperature is getting hot and so are the deals here at First State Chevy. Take up to $6,400 off select Equinoxes and Blazers in stock or lease payments as low as $261 a month. Now is the time and First State Chevy is the place. Give us a call at 302-856-2521 or find us on the web at firststatechevy.com. Come see the dealership that puts you, the customer, first.
Why waste time running from store to store comparing samples and swatches for your window coverings? Let Budget Blinds, your local experts, come to you. Our design consultants will bring samples, swatches, and styles to you so you can see how they look in your home. Or you can check out different ideas and trends at our showroom on Route 9, 4.5 miles west of 5 Points. From sales to installation, we make the process easy for you. Plus, we service all of our products. Call us at 856-6799 and let us get started on your new window coverings today.
Don't get frantic. Call and lending.
Hey, it's Mike Bradley. Tune in this Wednesday at 8:40 a.m. as our featured guest will be Dave Jones from Atlantic Refrigeration. Tune in to learn about services offered that can help you and your home. Your independent trained dealer. Crawl space or basement concerns? Don't wait. Call Dry Zone now so they can come out and give you a free estimate to stay safe and dry all the time. Call Dry Zone 302-684-5034 or visit dryzone.com.
Cars and maintenance can be two dirty words. Come to Lewis Meineke and let us help you maintain your vehicle. We can help you with repairs, oil changes, tires, and so much more. If you want to keep your car running and not get stuck in the mud, visit Lewis Meineke. We are doing car care right. 302-827-2054.
More Delaware primary coverage continues right now here on 92.7 WGMD, WGMD.com, and the WGMD app. Here's Mike Bradley.
All right, 11:24. Got to wind things down. About 5 minutes left just to go through the results here. Downstate, Sussex County Council District 2, Cindy Green, the winner there over Lisa Hudson-Briggs and Robert Wilson. In District 3, Mark Schaefer with a 43-vote advantage over I.G. Burton, 3163 to 3120. Absentee votes went the way of I.G. Burton, but not machine votes. We're going to have to see what the Burton campaign decides to do, whether they're going to challenge that for a revote or if they're going to stick with the results. We'll find out on that. In the U.S. House race, Lee Murphy defeats Matthew Morris. In the U.S. Senate race, Lauren Witzke defeats, Jim DiMartino, that is. And for the gubernatorial race, Julianne Murray with 41% of the vote to Colin Beniti, who got 34.5%. And then David Bosco, Dave Graham, Brant Richardson, Scott Walker, all getting under 10%. But Julianne Murray, the clear victor there. She'll take on, of course, Governor Carney, who won overwhelmingly over David Lamar Williams Jr. Also, U.S. Senate seat on the Democrat side, Chris Coons defeating Jessica Scarrain handily, about 73% to 27%. And a number of upstate races where some progressives look like they're going to be the winner, and that could help the Republicans. So John Brady and Jake Smith, we'll get final comments from you as we wind things down, at least for tonight. John, go ahead, sir.
Well, when we started the show, we said this was going to be a unique primary. It was. We have seen some upsets upstate. We have seen some paper-thin races down here in Sussex, which we expected and talked about. And I guess the mantra you get out of tonight, especially with votes of 43 and 35 apart and like that, every vote counts. Every vote's important. And when you leave legislative hall in June on an election year, you look to the left, you look to the right, and some of them may not be back. And that's what happened tonight.
Jake.
Mike, I think the winds of change are blowing politically in the first state. Based on what we've seen tonight, the question is, will they continue to blow past November 3rd? That's what we're going to have to see. That is the $64,000 question. And Mr. Bradley, you did one hell of a job anchoring this broadcast tonight.
Well, look, I appreciate a lot of great resources. Mary Lou, Mark Falzer, thank you guys so much as well. And as we take a look tonight, I think we had, again, based on all the calls, the emails, the signs, the people that we talked to, we felt like Julianne Murray was going to win this race, and I say that with all due respect to the other candidates who ran. We felt like she was going to be the winner there. I certainly felt like Lauren Witzke, with the ground game that she had herself at a good spot. We felt Lee Murphy, who had run a ground game really ever since losing 2 years ago to Scott Walker, was going to win the race. And he was able to do that, as was Laura Witzke on her end, and Julianne Murray. So I'm not sure that there were any surprises there for me. Certainly, we knew Sussex County Council District 3, that could go either way. Mark Schaefer ran an aggressive campaign. Yep. What IG Burton will do or not here, we'll have to see. But Mark put IG on the defensive early on. IG got the Cape Gazette endorsement late here, right before the election. There were some letters to the editor that were negative against Mark Schaefer, but ultimately it looks like that didn't matter. And in a three-way race for District 2, where there were all known candidates there, Cindy Green pulls it out, even though Robert Wilson is the son of Sam Wilson. The voters said that, look, we like Cindy just a little bit better, and we're going to go with her. And those are your results there as we wind things down here, and we'll, of course, have more candidate coverage between now and November 3rd.
Mike, as bad as the technology was tonight, I'm glad that my informants were right on the money as far as Cindy Green.
There you go.
And Mark Schaefer. I'm glad they were right on the money.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank, again, Mary Lou. Want to thank in the WGMD newsroom upstate as well, Mark Fauser, Mark Giuliani, Julia Hardy, Walt Palmer, the executive producer, of course, John Brady and Jake Smith here for extending their time today. It's been a long day for all of us, but this is what we're in the business to do, and we love it, and we're looking forward to more coverage on the way. Let me quickly, callers, since you're calling, you've got the last word here. 30 seconds. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I have a question because I'm in District 3.
Yes, ma'am.
And they sent me, I live in Dagsboro. They sent me to Frankfurt Firehouse, which they normally do. I wasn't able to vote for Mark Schaefer.
You were in District
on my ticket.
Mark Schaefer was not on your ticket because you were in Councilmatic District 4. You may
my
be
election, it says elective District 3.
Of what representative district?
41.
Yes, that is, you're in 41-3, which is in Councilmatic District 4.
Oh, okay. That
yeah, there you go.
Feel better.
All right,
okay.
ma'am. Absolutely. Well, it looks like he won anyway, so there you go. All right. Caller, thank you. Yes, Mary Lou, real quick. Literally seconds. Yes. Okay, I can't hear you. All right. Gentlemen, we have to end it there. We've got the best of Sean Hannity coming your way in just a little bit. We've got marine weather on the way. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm back dark and early tomorrow morning with Mark Fauser at 5:05 with First Light Delmarva, your all-news 5 o'clock hour. Until then, thank you so much. This has been Delaware Primary Coverage from WGMD.
I'm WGMD Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby with your WGMD TrueCast.